Well, there goes the Daverhood. The cavalry has come to save me on this January 21st, 2023, as we do the 878th edition of this program, Dave's Gone By, featuring me, Dave Lefkowitz, and on the noises, making noises herself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my darling and adorable wife, Joyce.
Hello.
What kind of greeting was that? Let's hear ya. So yeah, I've been doing this program since October of 2002, and Joyce has been joining me, especially in the past few years, helping me out with the stuff that we do on the show, including the hilarious Fred Norris style noises in the background and everything else we do, which includes such regular segments as the Colorado Limerick of the Damned, and this week we go to Leyner, Colorado, Leyner, Leyner, Colorado. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. Leyner. Tiny little place.
What is it, the derivation? Like Yena?
No, it's not double L. It's Ley. Like Leyner means to read.
But what does it mean?
Oh, it was probably named after some...
person.
Yeah, actually, I don't have that information of what it was named at or why they call it Leyner. But you know what? If I figure it out, I'll tell you later. Anywho,
I don't have my phone. I can't look up nothing. I can't tell you.
Here, take my phone.
Leyner. I'm curious. That's a weird name. What does it mean?
Well, it's no weirder than a lot of other names that are named after human beings. Could be some derivation of something. Anyway, where are we at? So we've got that coming up. Our limerick. So it's going to be a poem, a short one, about Leyner, Colorado. And let's see, how disgusting is it? How awful is it if kids happen to be in the room and hear it? It's not dirty. It's just mean. Yeah.
Colorado airports to spell it again. Leyner, right?
Correct.
This is interesting. You can charter an airport to the town. It's
Okay,
not an
hold on.
incorporated community.
Yeah, most of the places that I'm doing now are what they call
it's governed by Boulder.
Oh yeah, it's part of the Boulder County Census District thing.
I dropped some now. They're on my eyeglasses. I don't have my wipe, so I can't see. And
Well, go get what you need.
I can't.
But anyway, so Joyce has been dealing for the past couple of days with one of those burst eye vessel things. So it's like in the corner of her left eye. It's not even in the corner. It's sort of like going up. Let me see it. It is about where it was last night, so it's better than it was a day ago. But she's still got like red stuff in her eye, which occludes her vision. But I'm still including her in the show.
It was a railway station, they think.
Yeah, but that still doesn't explain the actual
history. It just says.
Yeah, I mean, there's very little about Leyner. Yeah.
It was acquired by a railroad. Does not appear on topographical maps. It was adjacent to a siding, indicating that it was a railway station.
And yet one of the most beautiful and famous African...
Oh my God,
yeah.
You know what the population was in 2010?
What was it?
29 people.
Good Lord, in 2010?
Yeah, here.
Good, I hope nobody dies. Yeah. I think I was going to say that in the when we talk about it. But one of the most famous and beautiful African-American singers of all time was Leyner Horne. So... There's even a theater named after her now. So, Leyner. That's the level of humor that you get on Dave's Gone By. Every Saturday, from 9 until... Joyce is trying not to sneeze because, obviously any kind of pressure, if she over sneezes or coughs or vomits, that makes the blood capillary vessels... So we see blood shooting towards the camera. It's just flying across the screen. You're seeing eyeballs. Gesundheit. You got to do one more, though. That's the problem. It's in threes.
No. I'll be back.
All right, go do what you got to do. Anyway, so we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. We also have Greeley Crimes and Old Times, which is... because Joyce and I used to live in Colorado for about 13 years. Gesundheit! 13 years. we lived in Greeley, which is northern Colorado. It's about 75 minutes north drive of Denver. And I got it, we got the newspaper there called the Greeley Tribune. And so every week in the Trib, there are 2 columns, one of which is called 100 Years Ago. There's a writer there that we know, Mike Peters, who goes through the newspapers back in 1923 and picks out the funniest, weirdest things to our minds, to modern minds, that were printed back in the day in the newspapers up in northern Colorado. It's really fun. And then there's another column which they have put, at least online, has been on hiatus, Lord knows why, called Cop Log, which are phone calls that come into police dispatch from weird, strange things happening in the community. Now, it's been since early November that they've updated this. So we're being very, very, as my Jewish parents would say, we jalava them. We parcel them out very parsimoniously, 1 or 2 a week now, because they haven't put up any new ones. At some point, there's just going to be Greeley Old Times, and that's going to be rather sad. But we still have our Greeley Crimes and Old Times segment for today, January 21st, 2023. Now, we are naming this episode Vet Tech. Vet Tech. Because nothing to do with veterinarians, honestly, and nothing to do with veterans. But we do have a veteran writer, a playwright, a novelist, a screenwriter named Richard Vetere, V-E-T-E-R-E, Richard Vetere. And he's been at it, I've been a theater critic for 35 years now. I started in the late 1980s. And so I remember even then and in the early 90s when his plays were being done off and off Broadway. I remember Gangster Apparel was the first time I noticed his name, that he was doing stuff. And the wonderful thing is he's kind of like John Peelmeyer. He's still doing it all these years later. He's still doing little off Broadway shows. He's still writing novels. He's still getting screenplays done and doing work for TV and short films. So, it's longevity in a career where he hasn't had a show on Broadway, and some of his films have made a lot of money, but he doesn't have the name recognition of William Goldman or something like that. So here's a person who's made a good career in writing, and particularly in writing for media and theater, and is still doing what he does now 4 or maybe 5 decades in. So I find that really, really cool and really fascinating. And so Rabbi Saul Solomon will be here chatting with playwright, screenwriter, author Richard Vetere, and he should be coming through in just a couple of minutes, as a matter of fact. A lot of great questions. I hope that the rabbi will ask him. Who is Rabbi Saul Solomon? I hear you ask. Thank you for asking. He is the founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. He has been with us since our very first episode. He is a performer. He did a show off Broadway called, actually 2 shows. One called Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Rabbi Saul Solomon, and another called The Miracle of Long Johns. And so he has some theater background too. He writes Rabbinical Reflections, and he does a lot of our interviews. Yeah. I've got my hot coffee there, but thank you. Maybe later, yeah. So Richard Vetere coming to the Daverhood, hopefully in just a couple of minutes from now, and he will.
What's he gonna do?
Well, he's going to be interviewed by Rabbi Saul and then stick around to play the Today, Yesterday trivia quiz.
Players of the Today, Yesterday.
Well, we have an interesting team today.
Is it Leslie, David, and Vicky?
No, it's Leslie cannot make it. David Short cannot make it. Our 2 stalwarts, and even Vicky is traveling. So we have.
Wow.
So this is going to be a very, very interesting.
Mr. Rand?
Ronald Rand?
Thank goodness. You need somebody who knows how to play the game.
That's true. That's true. And Eva Heinemann.
Oh, Eva's played.
Yeah.
Didn't she play on New Year's?
Well, she was with us, and we didn't play on.
Didn't she win?
I think she won one time, yes.
Well, Eva's a good player.
So she's played 2 or 3 times, and Ronald has played about 5 times, so they know the game.
She told us that story because she stepped on a dead mouse or mouse that freaked me out. I hope she's okay.
Well, yeah, the mouse is not.
No, I know, but that was one heck of a story.
Eva lives in the East Village of New York and has had her apartment for a couple of decades now. And, it's still the Lower East Side of New York, nearly, or East Village of New York. So one morning she woke up, she's making coffee or making tea or oatmeal or something.
I hope she's not making cheese.
And she feels something
that would
squishy.
Be cool if she's doing cheese.
It would, wouldn't it? Yeah.
And she's making like a cheese sandwich or some kind of cheesy breakfast.
Well, I feel bad for the mouse. Because the mouse, if he had waited, she could have had her cheese, had a little bit of leftover on a plate that she put in the sink, and then the mouse would be in great shape. Instead, mouse decides to scamper out when she's there. Oh, no, except when she stepped on it, it was already dead, right? Otherwise, she would have had an accident.
I still don't understand what the...
Yeah.
I still don't understand the whole thing of that story, to be quite frank with you. I don't know the whole mouse stepping incident.
Well, we can ask her. She'll be here.
No, you don't want to throw her off her game. Let her. She wants to be laser focused, because now that, like, David is usually the winner, Leslie's won quite a bit.
Sure.
Ronald knows the game. Eva knows the game.
I think Ronald won once.
Ronald won. Yeah, Ronald is the I want to say he's stealth. He's just very calm. He comes in and then he won.
Yeah. And so it should be a really interesting game featuring Eva Heinemann, who is a theater critic and hosts the show High Drama, and with Ronald Rand, who is a publisher of a magazine for actors. So it'd be kind of cool to get all these folks together. And of course, we have Richard Vetere coming into the Daverhood to play the game and to talk to Rabbi Saul Solomon. As a matter of fact, I want to bring Rabbi Saul in because, he needs to do his ablutions. He needs to coat himself with special oils. He doesn't use frankincense or myrrh or any of those biblical oils. It's usually like peanut oil and Wesson because he likes to be shiny.
I thought it was coconut oil.
Coconut, that's only on Yom Kippur.
Oh.
But Rabbi Saul is coming into the Daverhood. We're going to play his intro music, and he's going to bring in playwright and writer and screenwriter and author Richard Vetere. We've got a great show for you. It's Dave's Gone By. Hang with us. We're here till noonish. Don't go away. And now let's get Jewy with it with Rabbi Saul. Notice how I stretch this out while I'm getting the music. Saul Solomon. Yeah! Anoint me with the oils! Oh boy! All right, enough of that. Oh, shalom, my friends, shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And delighted I am and thrilled I am to be talking to, all right, let's face it, he's a Shagitz. He's not one of the tribe. But ladies and gentlemen, we have a veteran author, someone who has written everything, everything from novels to screenplays to short screenplays to plays to short plays, basically everything under the sun that has to do with words, except the occasional bill. We have with us Richard Vetere. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He wrote Hail the Hero for General Motors Playwrights Theater back in the day on TV. It was a TV thing. The Marriage Fool, The Third Miracle. These are movies that he wrote the screenplays for. And he wrote the ever-popular play Gangster Apparel. And he's got a new play that is going to be in sort of workshop ready mode, where you can go see it for free on Monday night if you want to in New York. It's called Zaglada. And it's about the Holocaust. So it's going to be great fun. Ladies and gentlemen, won't you please welcome to the Daverhood, Richard Vetere. Shalom, Richard. How you doing? Shalom to you.
I'm doing great. Thanks, man. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you're roasted. Is that Sinatra behind you, or is that young you?
No, that is me not that long ago, but I realize now I don't have a beard. Someone in Tel Aviv actually saw this on Facebook and painted my portrait and sent it to me. It's gorgeous. Her name is Oren Siegel, and I'm glad you reminded me. I have to write her. I owe her an email.
Yeah, if you can get written in Hebrew, just send it to me and I'll do it for a couple of $100. But when were you ever in Israel? I mean, I feel like you must have traveled everywhere. So
no, that's one place they didn't hire me to write anything, but I'm hoping the play Zaglada will be done there someday. It was published in 2019, right before the pandemic, and the pandemic stopped 2 world premieres. But then this September last year, Banner Elk, the ensemble stage, and all the places in the world, North Carolina, did a world premiere, and it was amazing. There were a lot of non-Jewish people. Some synagogues came. We had standing ovations every night. And one day I'm sitting in the audience, and this woman turns to me and says, "And there are Holocaust deniers?" And I looked at her and I said, "Yeah, that's why I wrote the play. One of the reasons I wrote the play." And it was cool. It was very cool.
So because I wouldn't necessarily think of you as the person to be writing a play about, an ex-Nazi or potential ex-Nazi and all of that. I would figure your milieu is more of the Scorsese Coppola area. I mean, are you Italian?
Yeah, I grew up in Maspeth, Queens. I'm Italian American, though I did my DNA, and it seems like I go right through the Middle East, right through to actually Pakistan, but it goes way up to the North Sea. So Naples is where my family's from, and it seems like Naples, everybody passed through. So, but why I wrote Zaglada is growing up in Maspeth over the years when I was a kid up until recently, there'd be always somebody being arrested for entering the country by lying on their passport applications. It was a German neighborhood, became a Polish. It was German where I grew up. Now it's Italian. And then it was Polish. And just a couple of years ago, a guy was arrested, just two or 3 years ago, right before the pandemic. And it seemed that he was a capo in a concentration camp. And as he got arrested, the thing he said to the police is, "Why are you arresting me? I'm not a Jew." And I went, "Oh my God, I've been thinking about writing this place for decades, and I just found my way in." So I did a lot of research. And, we didn't talk about the Holocaust in my family at all, so everything I had to do, I was even telling my brother, he came to a reading at the Kosciuszko Foundation last February. And I said, "Did we ever talk about it?" He said, "No." And so my research brought me to when it came with this guy getting arrested, I created my own story. And it's really, people are telling me, Eva Fogelman, it's really not a Holocaust play, but it's a play about the Holocaust, but told from a Christian point of view.
Oh, so it's like those Carmelite nuns who tried to camp out on Auschwitz.
Yes.
Kind of a little bit like that. I'm wondering, I didn't get unfortunately, I did not get to see it because I was not in New York at that point. But are you familiar with the soap myth? That was a show that Edward Asner, who was a friend of the Daverhood before he plotzed, but he was in this, going all over the country in this show called The Soap Myth, which was, it was kind of like, as I recall, the plot was that these Jewish organizations were trying to kind of tamp down the idea that the Nazis made Jewish people into soap and lampshades and things. And he's like, "No, they did it. I know it. They did it." And it's sort of the back and forth on that. So it's kind of maybe something you want to watch. You can find it on YouTube or something. Or you can just go buy a bar of Irish Spring and imagine it for yourself. But we are here with an Italian winter here with Richard Vetere. Congratulations on Zaglada. So how was the pandemic for you in terms of trying to continue being a writer? Did you just sit down and write more novels then because there was nothing else to do?
No, it's really interesting. A writer spends a lot of time in isolation. So I did a lot of writing like I always did. I swam every day. Well, when the pool opened in New York, the pools opened around July of that year. So I would go swimming every day. It was an outdoor pool. You had to wear your mask when you were around the pool. And I talked to a lot of people. I went to visit my girlfriend, but we stayed outside. So it was a normal me writing kind of thing. The only thing I really missed was rehearsals. I'm also an actor, so I couldn't do any acting. But I had a couple of novels published in 2000, 2001, and I did a lot of writing. So yeah.
I think 220 and 221. What do you mean?
Did I say 2000? Yeah, 2021. Yeah.
21 and 2020. Got it. So when did you? I mean, the typical question: when did you realize you were a writer? Was it elementary school? Was it much later than that, or when?
Yeah, I started in elementary school. It's a story I tell a million times. I had a crush on the girl next to me, and she brought in a poem from her boyfriend who was much older and in Vietnam. I went to St. Stanislaus, and she showed me this poem, and I'm looking at the poem going, God, this looks familiar to me. It felt familiar. I went home and wrote a poem. I brought it in, gave it to her. She gave it to the nuns. I was taken all over the school as the poet. I was known as the poet from, what was that?
How often did you get beaten up at that point?
Everyone asked me that. No, actually.
They didn't call you poet fag. They didn't. You did not get any of that. No.
Even tough guy mob guys would always kind of be rather respectful of the writer, the playwright, the poet. It was like in there, they always said something like, yeah, I'd like to do that. So wow. Yeah, Eisner, I forgot his first name, Eric Eisner, over at Disney at one time asked me when I was in LA.
Whoa. Michael Eisner, the head of Disney.
Yeah. I had an interview with him on a play he was thinking about making a movie out of, and he asked me the same question. And I said, no, it's the exact opposite. I was from the neighborhood, but at the same time, I didn't tell him I went to Columbia for my master's in comparative English literature, but the guys I hung out with, who I grew up with, were always really respectful of it. It's really weird, but they were.
Can I ask you, since you brought that up, and since you mentioned, this, because you have an agent and you get published and you don't just put something that goes in a drawer. It gets done somewhere, no matter what you write, pretty much. So, but when you have to do a meeting, a real Hollywood meeting, not with some 22-year-old reader and not with some prexy who just come up from the mailroom and is now suddenly an assistant vice president, but the friggin' head of the friggin' Disney, how do you not just go on your knees and beg and say, give me $1 million, make my movie, and I'll blow your family? Wow, how do you go through a meeting like that?
It's not easy, like you just said. You try to prepare for it. I got to tell you, the story I tell a lot is the best meeting I ever had. My agent in William Morris set me up with a woman at Paramount. And as soon as I sat down, I had all my notes ready to talk about things. And you know what she said to me? Tell me what you have at home in your drawer that you didn't come here to talk about. And I thought that was the best question ever anybody asked me. So I had been working on a novel that was a clumsy 550 pages for years. And it was called The Third Miracle. And it was about a priest investigating the potential sainthood of a woman who'd been dead for 10 years. When I told her that, she said, that's interesting. I left. My agent called me at the hotel and said, why did you never tell me about this third miracle? I said, I didn't think anybody be interested. Make a long story short, it was made into a movie. Coppola produced it. Ed Harris plays the priest. Anne Hesh was the saint's mother. Yeah. And I love the film. Agnieszka Holland, the famous Agnieszka, I'm looking at the poster now. Agnieszka Holland directed it. Yet my movie Vigilante, which I also really like, that has a cult following. Bam called it one of the best indies of the 80s. But I wish more people got to watch The Third Miracle. But that was a meeting that I'll never forget what she told me, that woman. And it wound up getting made.
No, because I had the same thing. I had a meeting with someone in the industry. And they asked me, okay, you wrote that, you want to do this show and your Shalom Dammit, but what do you have in your drawer? And I told her, a butt plug. Never heard. In fact, my agent dropped me immediately after this. Comedy! We're doing this on Dave's Gone By with me, Rabbi Sal Solomon, and Richard Vetere. My audience here, they're just sitting here in shocked, horrible silence. What did you learn since you went to Columbia? what did you learn getting an MA from? Do you wish that you had taken something very different from literature and writing, and that, or it was the right thing to take? What was the best thing you learned from there?
Well, number one, the best thing I learned was I don't know a lot. I got my master's when I was 22, and I had gone to St. John's University. I was known as the poet. I was one of the literary managers of the magazine. And I had a mentor, Dr. Iannucci, who said, you belong at Columbia. And I didn't think I'd ever get into Columbia. And I was telling this story about mentors that he set me up with a meeting. I met this professor there, and he said, you're the kind of student we want. And I remember the first day I got in, he said, don't forget to apply. I did, I got in, and I had a headache the first day. The classes, the existentialism, nothing. I studied with the best. Lionel Trilling, I studied with on Jane Austen. Donato, I studied Melville. Kinley, I studied Ulysses from James Joyce. So I left Columbia realizing I knew very little. There were a lot more smarter people out there than me. But I got my master's in comparative English literature, which I'm looking at now, the certificate on the wall. It was one of the things I'm thrilled at, because my nephews have all gone for masters, Notre Dame, whatever. Guess what? None of them Ivy League. Their uncle is Ivy League.
It's just a little bit, in comparative. Now, speaking of young and learning and stuff, it's interesting. I read an interview with you from a couple of years ago, where people ask, what would you advise young writers or people who want to be in the movies or playwrights and things like that? What do you advise? And it's nothing to do with tell your story and know your narrative. Your thing is learn the business. Is this true?
Yeah, no, I do tell a lot of writers still this day write me, call me, ask me business questions. How do I handle this? I usually direct them to the Writers Guild. I'm a lifetime member of the Writers Guild of America East. I love it because right now, if I can say, I have a show running on Amazon. I have a movie with Walter Matthau, Carol Burnett, and John Stamos. It's called The Marriage Fool. It appeared on Amazon after being the highest rated movie on CBS 20 years ago. So my guild is trying to get me, my union is trying to get me royalties. So I always tell writers, read your contracts, learn what your rights are. There are different rights as a playwright than a screenwriter, as a novelist. You got to know. And that's something I always tell them, know the business of this business. I've been lucky. I had smart people around me, but I always like to teach myself what I need to know. Like Zaguata, we're reading Monday night with Len Carew, which is like pretty amazing. I know. I'm going to see him right after this because we have rehearsal, our first rehearsal. This Zaguata is published, so we would want to get it commercially off Broadway. That's our plan. We want to get it done in New York. So there's all kinds of legal things one must know. Movie rights. Streaming is a new thing now. Streaming is new. The Marriage Fool is streaming. And when I was on council with the Writers Guild at that time in 2012, we weren't really sure, how does one know that your show is being watched when it's streaming? It's up to the producer to tell you. It's no longer, when Vigilante came out, my producer stood in the lobby and counted people, on a little counter. It doesn't go like that anymore. It's streaming. It's weird. It's really hard to find. We're getting to know how to do that now. But digital life is really different now.
Can I ask you,
Mm-hmm.
you must, back, my God, by 1997, when you were interviewed by the Daily News, New York Daily News, you said you already had like 40 plays written.
Yeah.
Is that up to 70 or something? I mean, and connected to that, since you have an agent and since you have a commercial, do you feel the pressure to write, I want to write a novel because this could be made into a thing or published, or I should be working on screenplays. What the hell am I going to write a one-act play for, or a short, or a something that's just going to be off Broadway? I'll never make a dime from it. How do you balance that as a professional writer?
Well, I'm probably one of the last few people who call themselves an artist, because I write what I want to write. I've been really fortunate that my stories have been made. The Marriage Fool was a story about me and my father. John Stamos played me, Walter Matthau played my father. The Third Miracle was about a miracle I heard about when I was a kid at St. Stan's, and years later I write about it. Zaguata, like I said, happened in my old neighborhood. So I write what I want, and then, it's really weird. You got to trust your own vision that it will get done. I didn't realize when I developed this at the Actors Studio, for the PD, the unit, the playwright directors unit, I had a lot of difficulty. Some of the people at the studio were upset that I made the antagonist Kozlowski, the capo, who's Polish, that I was making him a bit sympathetic. And I was like, well, that's the point is Sonia, whose mother and father survived Buchenwald, is the Homeland Security agent trying to prosecute him for war crimes. We don't do that here. She has to extradite him to a country that does. And there's no statute of limitation on international war crimes. So I said, I don't really know if anybody cares about this. I do. And I really think when an artist cares about something and they have the skills to craft it, people will come. People will come.
Yeah. I mean, you don't, or at this point, you still don't have to make the Nazi capo black and transgendered. Soon you will. Soon it's going to be a part of the whole. Somehow back in the day, in 1943, a black transgender capo was there, and nobody noticed.
Well, what I do in the play is that it is a woman journalist who happens to be black, who wants to interview him because she's doing a story comparing slavery and the Holocaust, and that's who he takes a shot at. So I want the play to be controversial. I do want to deal with the idea of Black Lives Matter, Holocaust. There are a lot of issues in the world that younger people don't really know a lot about. Black Lives Matter, they do.
They know this.
But
Yeah.
Holocaust, they don't. So World War II, they don't. I know because I lecture at Queens College and I ask them. Luckily, some of them are really smart and take classes on history. But I wanted to combine that as an American, because I'm an American, I'm not a European. And then I have my Italian-American NYPD cop of Homeland Security liaison, who really who doesn't care about what went on, 70 years ago. He can't believe he has to arrest this guy who did these crimes in a war that it was nothing to do with him. He said, I got real terrorists I got to deal with, not a 90-year-old man who's dying of 4-stage cancer. So I want to throw all the issues out there so you leave the play asking questions. That's all I want people to know. And I want them to be informed. Like, my buddy Israel Horovitz, he really helped my career early on, had said to me, there are some plays that make you entertain you, which is great. And there are some who make you think of your own life. That's the kind of work I do. So, when I get lucky and it gets done, I'm thrilled.
So many questions just from talking about all these things. And people, also I like anecdotes on the show and people you mentioned. So it's sort of like, Israel Horovitz, if people don't know who he was, a playwright. He had a couple of shows on Broadway. Also Line, which is one of the longest running off Broadway. So they did 13th Street Theater for 27 years. At the same time, unfortunately, his reputation has been tarnished. And his own son is ashamed of him because apparently, allegedly, how do you reconcile the Israel Horovitz that as a playwright who was really helpful to you and a sometimes brilliant playwright with someone who allegedly, apparently, was in not quite Harvey Weinstein territory, but you know what I'm talking about. How do you?
Oh yeah. It's tough because I've had some women friends very upset with me that when he passed away, I mentioned it on social media. But hey, I am friends with his wife, his family. His Israel's daughter, very successful producer. I'm friends with the family. So am I supposed to disown them? I know people that went to jail for other crimes. And I'm friends with them. They're out.
Who's in jail? Who I'm just curious. Any murderers? Any?
No. Mostly. I don't want to say anything.
Tax fraud.
Yeah, but not that kind of crimes. Mostly. What would you call it? Fraud, gangster stuff. Gangster stuff. That kind of stuff.
Without putting anybody in jeopardy, you mentioned mafia types that you grew up. how close to that world were and are you of the Cosa Nostra and all that? They just arrested like one of the biggest. For 30 years, they were looking for one of these guys out in Italy. They found him. So how?
Oh, that guy, yeah. When I got a movie in Rome, it was never made, but they flew me to Rome, and that's when Falcone was killed. Remember Falcone, the two DAs? There was another DA in Italy. Those guys really were trying to get at the Sicilian mob. And boy, I was in Naples. I saw what goes on. In my real life, you never know. Danny Aiello was a really good friend, and we were at a restaurant, famous celebrity restaurant, and a guy comes over, and he shakes Danny's hand, says hello to me, and then he leaves, and then Danny goes to me, "Do you know who that is?" I said, "I think I do," and he says, "You just shook hands with him. You don't know that his father is one of the biggest mob guys around, and if the FBI was outside or somebody was watching, they would say, you know him. You got to be careful." And you never know who you're with in that world, and you don't want to ask.
That's right. One of our friends of the Daverhood just passed a day ago. His name is Jerry Blavitt, who is a well-known DJ in Philadelphia. And one of the things, the tarnish, if you will, on his life and career is apparently he had mafia connections, and he was a driver for them. And so, he did all these wonderful things for radio. But so you wonder, but at the same time, you wonder, well, did he have dinner with these people and that was it? He never killed anybody. He wasn't a made man or any of these things. But getting back to stories and things, I hope you don't mind my asking again. Like you had a movie done with Anne Heche.
Yeah.
Was she normal back in the day?
I really loved her. We were talking about who would be perfect for the character of Roxana. And then when they, it was really weird. You like this story. I'm in a hotel in LA, and I get a phone call from my agent, and they go, "Pick up Variety." And I say, okay, I pick it up, and it says, Holland, Heche, Harris, find Miracle. And then I said to my agent, didn't the option lapse? They had forgotten to re-option it. They were so busy trying to package it. So we made some more money. And then I said, Anne Heche, that's interesting. And I met her on the set. She was warm, she was sweet, and I have some gossip that I don't want to share, but I have to tell you, I thought she was wonderful. Ed Harris was great to work with. Ed Harris was pro 100%, great guy.
Well, why won't you share she's dead. Why won't you share the gossip? Who was she stooping? I'm just.
No, well, that's when she was seeing Ellen DeGeneres.
Right, all right. Oh. All right.
Yeah, and Ellen came up to watch the filming, and it was, I wasn't directing the movie, so I'm only like, distant here, but I know that it kind of was it was the big scene between, if you see the movie, and Roxana and Ed Harris is the priest, and they come together romantically. And it's really hard to shoot a scene with an actress who's come
girlfriend
just for that.
I gotcha. Yeah. Now, how about any Walter Matthau stories?
Oh, my God.
And Carol Burnett story. I'm sure Carol Burnett was a doll. But what about Walter?
Walter was like amazing. When I found out we got Walter, I was like blown away. But I will say what I heard was that Walter wanted $1 million plus one for the work on The Marriage Fool. And when they said, why one? It was because Jack Lemmon got $1 million and he wanted $1 more. He was great. He worked so hard. The fun thing was, I'm home, I get a call. This is before I met him. And he goes, "It's Walter." So I said, Walter Matthau, I have a question. I want to change a line. I want to change hot dog to Frankfurter. Frankfurter is funnier. I said, okay, I'll fax you the change. And then he faxed me the page of what he wanted to change. And I called my agent. Walter Matthau just called me. He was really great. He was really great. The only thing is he didn't understand what the title The Marriage Fool meant. So here we are at a big dinner before the first day of shooting. And he said, "I don't understand The Marriage Fool. What does it mean?" And I went, oh my God, in front of everybody. But he worked hard. He was really funny. John Stamos, I hung out with John, was great. And Carol was terrific. She also had a problem with the fact that she had to play a character from Queens. So she asked me to do some rewrites. So I went up to her penthouse, we sat down, and we worked on a monologue. And we got really, really comfortable together. that once shooting one scene on the set, if you see the movie, she's in the car, it's their first date with Walter. And she said, I want to say something here. So right on the spot, I said to the producer, give me a piece of paper and a pen. And I wrote her a little monologue. She loved it. And then she did that Tarzan thing for the audience, for all the people that,
just off camera, yeah, just to do it, yeah.
Oh yeah, she did it off camera because to all these people watching us in Toronto, and she did it. She was really lovely to work with too. It's when you work with people like that, you gotta relax and not be, because you got work to do. So you're in off for a couple of minutes, and then you go, okay, I gotta do this.
Can I ask you who, and if they're dead, name names. If they're dead, who is the most difficult, awful person? It could be an actor, could be a director, could be a producer, even the worst of the worst that you had to deal with.
I really can't remember anyone being difficult. Not to me. As the writer, you're not you work kind of closely with the director, and then you're kind of gone. Sometimes they ask you your thoughts. Vigilante was my first movie. My director, William Lustig, is, he's a legend in the indie world of horror movies, action movies. And he was under a lot of stress to get a movie made. It took us a year, I think, if not longer, to shoot Vigilante. He and I, worked on how the script was going to look. Producers in the theater, nobody really, you do get some people, but they're not really famous, who I think it's mostly insecurity that get really nervous, and they don't know how to deal with it. But as I'm older now, let's hope I don't run into anybody. I've worked with everyone from like Chris Walken, Alec Baldwin.
You made it through Alec Baldwin alive, but Christopher Walken, do you have a Christopher Walken story? Not a bad one, just any Christopher Walken.
It's not a bad story, but I love it. I'm at a party, and I walk into this club in LA, and there's Chris, and he goes, Richard, and I run over Chris, and that's where the conversation usually ends with Chris. And then I was in his house once, and I went up to see him, and he goes, Rich. I go, Chris, and that's the end of the conversation. He was the hardest guy to actually do small talk with, I got to tell you. But I've been lucky. There was a place called Columbus. It's gone now, a restaurant, and it was just for celebrities. And one night I was sitting with Sean Penn, Chris Walken, Harvey Keitel, Christian Slater, Hall from Hall & Oates. And we just hung out at this table until we all went to the China Club. And then Richard Belzer once invited me to a show I took him to dinner, and then he said, come to my show, bring a date, sit at my table. Get there, the place is packed, but our table's empty, but me and my date. So we have a martini, and I'm like, the place is getting crazy. It's 20 minutes late. I run to the bathroom, I come back. My girlfriend's got this look on her face, and I look around the table. You know who was sitting there at our table? Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Chris Walken, John Hall from Hall & Oates, and I said Harvey Keitel. And I was like, and the whole room looked like, who is this guy sitting at this table? And I just remember looking across to De Niro, and he gave me this smirk, like this smile, like, yeah, this is some table. So that's the kind of
realized,
Yeah. Oh, here's one last one. At Columbus, Paulie Herman, who unfortunately just passed away, managed Columbus, and he and I got to be really friendly. And he'd always say, when you come to the restaurant, sit at my table. So I get a call on a Sunday afternoon. Are you coming tonight? I go, yeah, I got some friends I need you to talk to until I get there. Sure. I go. First person to show up is what's his name? Baryshnikov. And I'm sitting there going, that's Baryshnikov. And I'm talking to him, right? Then I turn, as we're talking, the next guy sits down at the table. It's David Bowie. So I'm sitting with Baryshnikov and David Bowie.
Could you tell them apart? Because back in the day, they were kind of,
Very good point. David Bowie said nothing but smiled at me. Baryshnikov was like, when is Paulie coming? And then all of a sudden I hear, back of my head, I hear this high-pitched voice. Who are these guys? And then he sits down. Mike Tyson. So I'm sitting with these guys, And I'm thinking, am I in a dream? I wrote this on Facebook many years later, and someone wrote, I was your waiter that night.
What? I can't even. That's almost like a Joe Franklin show from another alien world.
I know.
Yes, we have Baryshnikov and Mike Tyson.
And then I was at a Writers Guild party, and someone said, here, this is Mike Tyson's manager. I said, I got to tell him this story to make sure I know it was real. And he goes, I went over and told me, he goes, oh, I know all about that night. Mike told me. So, yeah, it's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff.
Now, it has not been crazy at all chatting with Richard Vetere here in the Daverhood. Now, Richard is staying. He's going to stick around and talk to some, okay, Mike Tyson, David Bowie, Robert De Niro, who gives a shit. But coming to the Daverhood momentarily are Ronald Rand, an actor and a writer about acting, and also theater critic Eva Heinemann, who has been reviewing for many, many years. She hosts a show. So, she's coming. They're going to be playing the Today, Yesterday trivia quiz with Dave, who's coming right here, and of course Richard Vetere. But I've got to tell you, folks, please, this Monday, which is actually the producer's this show's birthday, Dave's birthday. If he were in New York, you know where he's spending his birthday? He would spend it at the St. Clements Theater, basically because it's free. It's a free ticket to a reading of the play Zaglada by Richard. Zaglada. There it is. So you can see it, and with Len Cariou, the legend from Applause and from Sweeney Todd and what's the TV show, Blue Blood Things. That Len Cariou is starring on Monday night at St. Clements in Zaglada by Richard Vetere. So Richard, first of all, thank you a million. I want to talk to you for another hour and just forget the rest of the show, but I can't. So you stay there. I'm going to play some music. I'm going to wish everybody a most happy late January. There's no holiday to talk about. I'm just happy late January. And Dave will be right with you. And shalom. Oh, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Rabbi. Rabbi Sal Solomon in the Daverhood with us here on this Saturday morning. It is January 21st, 2023, and we are here doing the Dave's Gone By show with some of our very, very favorite people in the world, and those include Ronald Rand, who is the publisher of Soul of the American Actor, and also has a book about monologues out called, I'm blanking, I'm so sorry. Ronald, tell us, and wait, unmute, Ron. Ron, unmute.
You can ask him.
I did, I am.
Okay, there we go.
It's
called Solo Transformation on Stage, and it's about a transformation that we go through every day of our lives, but also if you wanted to also create your own solo play. And it talks all about how I go through my transformation as Harold Clurman, which I've been doing for 23 years in my show, Let It Be Art, in 26 countries. And so I decided during the pandemic to create that book. So it's been doing very well. Thank you.
And by the way, Richard, you're talking there with Richard Vetere. He is a long time. Have you ever had a show done at the Harold Clurman Theater, which I guess no longer exists? But
I've done actually several staged readings at the Clurman, and Jack Garfine, who created the Clurman Theater, was a very, very dear friend of mine, and he actually produced my show at the Theater Filmothèque in Paris, across from the Sorbonne. So, yeah, I worked on a show with Morgan Freeman at the Clurman too. So that was fun.
Now, what about you, Richard? Have you you've been in the game so long?
Yeah.
I imagine.
What's sad is, I mean, I've had so many plays done in off Broadway, New York City. A lot of those theaters are gone, and it's kind of sad. You know, you go somewhere and you go, there was a theater here. And I hang out at the West Bank Cafe on 42nd, and right across is Theater Row, and I think that's where the Harold Clurman was.
Right, exactly.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
it was
checking.
right there. Samuel Beckett also
Yeah.
was there next
Yeah.
to it, which is now theater number 5. And the Judith
Yes.
Anderson was down the block. And yes,
Oh, gosh.
yeah.
It does kind of suck that they've got this big theater complex. The theaters are nice, but somebody needs to donate so they start naming these places. Nobody's ever
Yeah.
going to remember, oh, I saw that at theater 3.4. It was like, what? No. Yeah.
Good point.
By the way, Eva Heinemann, not by the way, Eva Heinemann is also joining us. Eva is the host of the very long-running theater review program called High Drama, H-I exclamation point, get the pun, drama, which you can watch the episodes on YouTube, and also it's still on Manhattan Neighborhood Network if you're living and get cable. How you doing, Eva?
Tired.
Nervous? What?
No, tired. It's
Okay.
early in the morning for me. We're theater folks. We're not morning people.
All right, so what show did you go to the theater? Because Eva, to this day, still sees probably 4 to 6 shows per week, as she's been doing for 20-something years. So what'd you see this week in the theater, Eva?
Well, Under the Radar and Origins First Irish Festival is going on right now.
Okay.
So I've been doing a lot of those things. And yesterday I went to see The Indigo Room at La Mama as part of Under the Radar by Timothy White Eagle.
And how was it?
Well,
It was interesting. I mean, it's one of these immersive things. So you start out going to a carnival. They had a live operation. They had an actual guy lying down with the blanket, and then you got to pick out all the bits and pieces of his body. And since this is the morning, I won't tell you the piece I was having trouble getting.
All right.
I always had trouble getting that anyway.
Now, Ron, are you okay? But are you? Because I'm getting like
yeah, I was just
Japanese cartoons
a
that give
psychedelic moment there. I had no idea what was happening, but I'm back. It seems I've just arrived back from another planet, so I'm okay.
Welcome back to you, and welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for playing the Today Yesterday Trivia Quiz. Now, it's nothing. Now, Richard, you've never played it before. You're brand new to the Daverhood. It's nothing to be. It's a ridiculous, stupid, pointless quiz. Because it's on this show. But it's trivia. And we ask questions. Each question is worth 2 points if you happen to get it right. If you get it wrong, no big deal, but one of the other contestants gets to try and steal that question and get the 2 points instead. We have 2 rounds. Each contestant gets 1 question, and then a tiebreaker that we do whether or not it's tied. We just do it anyway because I spent the time writing the damn thing. So, first of all, I'm going to ask our brand new friend of the Daverhood, Richard Vetere. Could you kindly do me a favor?
Also, tell him if he doesn't know the answer, he can just
Yeah.
talk about it.
If you don't know the answer, just say Zaglada. So if you instead of saying pass or I give up, just say Zaglada and remind everybody that your show is being done on Monday night at the St. Clements Theater.
They would ask him if he thinks Rich would have mafia.
Okay, well, my wife Joyce is here, and she's kind of before we start the game. Since you grew up in Maspeth,
Yeah.
and my wife was born in and grew up in Ridgewood, New York, which is
Right next door.
So was it very mafioso-ish around there that you remember?
There might still be. That's all I know.
Yeah. Because there's a strip, when I was young, I went in high school to get ice cream, and we went in and it was a social club, and they were gambling with a bunch of men, and they said, what would you like? And we're like, ice cream. And we were the only 2 people in a gelato shop in like 90-degree weather. And in the back, we heard like gambling. And then I was like, I don't think this is an ice cream.
Yeah. So
So
but
you
anyway.
got the scoop.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to see you, Eva. It's been a while.
I know. Oh, hello from Iceland, by the way.
Oh,
And
thank you.
Nanette. Yeah, we were talking about you. I was talking about this show, and they were like, "Oh, my God." We're all your fans.
Yay.
Well, fan of all of you, and it's nice to see you, Richard. I've enjoyed your work over the years too.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
My
Yes.
pleasure.
Oh, ditto, ditto, ditto.
Thank you.
Excellent. So, Richard, though, I'm going to ask you kindly to choose a number between 1 and 6, and let me know what it is.
Right now?
Yeah.
3.
Richard Vetere with a 3, and then Eva, noblesse oblige, 2, Eva, and Ron,
5.
Ron with 5. So all I'm going to do, Richard, we have a digital die rolling thing here. So this is going to show who goes first and also when the skills come up. So actually, number 5, Ron, you get to choose. Would you like to be first, second, or third?
I'll be second this time.
Oh my goodness. That means anything at all, but let's just
Tell your guests the logic that people want to go last so they can benefit from the knowledge of people who go first.
Yeah, because if you get the question wrong, then you've got a better shot. So
Then you have a chance.
I just rolled a number 2, which is Eva's number. So Eva, would you like to go first or third?
Well, because we have a new person here, I'm going to be noble and self-sacrificing. I'll go first.
Oh my! Yay, Eva! Go. And then that means Richard, you kind of have a good position there because you get to see 2 questions answered before you even have to go.
And this is a very hard game, believe me. It's all guesswork anyway.
Yeah. It really is. Yeah. This is not like, oh my God, I'm on Jeopardy. Why don't I know this? This is like, if you get it right, you're like, why the hell did I know this? So it's that kind of quiz. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, so, and by the way, you're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife, Joyce. We're here with Richard Vetere, Ronald Rand, and Eva Heinemann on this January 21st, 2023, with our show. We're calling it Vet Tech in honor of our guest, Richard Vetere.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're playing the Today, Yesterday Trivia Quiz. Eva Heinemann, this question is for you. And one final thing, that a lot of the questions, not all of them, have to do with things that happened in history on January 21st, since that's what today is. So could have been 50 years ago, 150 years ago. Eva, we go back to 1818. Written today by John Keats is a poem based on seeing a lock of hair that a friend of his collected as a tribute. Whose head did that hair come from? Was A, Elizabeth Barrett Browning, B, Robert Browning, C, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, or D, John Milton?
Ooh. That's a tough
one. Wow.
What were the choices again?
Oh, sorry, I'll read them again. So, John Keats wrote a poem based on seeing a lock of hair that a friend of his collected as a tribute. Whose head did that hair come from? Was it A, Elizabeth Barrett Browning, B, Robert Browning, C, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, or D, John Milton?
I'm going to go with the least likely, Samuel Taylor Coleridge.
Is that your, oh my goodness, I need my instrument. Hold on. Is that going to be your final answer?
Yeah, why not? Water, water everywhere and not a drop to drink.
Well, I wish I could say that you were hot on the trail of that answer, but I'm afraid you're ice Coleridge. But I'm
No.
I'm sorry.
The leap. She was taking the leap, you know.
Well, sometimes when you take a leap, so that is not the correct answer. We're going to roll the die.
Okay.
Number two again. Hello, number 1. Number 4. Did someone have a no? This can go on for a while. A number 2 again. Here's a number 5, which is Ronald's number.
Okay. Can you say them one more time?
Sure.
Please.
Whose hair was it? Was it A, Elizabeth Barrett Browning, B, Robert Browning, or D, John Milton?
You should put E.
Okay. Let's see. It's very interesting because of the particular period in which he lived. So I would go with D.
Ooh.
Yeah. Final
D.
answer.
Your final answer is D, John Milton.
Yes, I think so.
Well, you know, usually we discourage our contestants from going to the John on this show, but in this particular case, that has given you 2 points.
Oh my goodness.
Ronald Rand, that is,
Wow.
You're nodding, Richard. Did you know that? Did you kind of guess?
Yeah, I thought it was Milton. I kind of remember the poem, and I just remember reading that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
It was common to
interesting.
carry hair as a memento for back in the day. You would carry
Mhm.
locks of hair.
People did. They made brooches and stuff out of hair. It was-
My wife has a brooch made of my pubes.
No, I don't.
He never stops. Oh, God.
God help us.
It's time for question number 2, which is going to go directly to Ronald Rand. So here's the deal. Ronald already has 2 points. So if you get this correct, you will have a relatively commanding lead if you get 2 points. And guess what, Ron?
What?
This is I love the way you said that. This is the special kind of question we ask. That's 3 clues in the news.
Oh, great. Okay.
All right, so I'll explain. You know how it works. I'll explain to Richard.
Sure.
The idea is that I'm going to give Ronald 3 clues, 3 words. They are not connected to each other. Each of these words connects to another word that they'll make you think of, the same word. And that word has something to do with something that happened in the news over the past week or so. So an example that isn't newsy might be if I were to say spider shines pox. And the word that would go kind of with all of those might be, Richard, Richard, so you get the idea. What word might go with, like blank this or blank spider shines pox.
The spider throws me. I'm thinking of like a virus or something.
What was the name of it last year?
Oh, COVID? Not COVID. Oh, monkey, yes, monkey. yes.
Monkeypox, monkey shines, monkey, and that. So there you go. That's how it works. But Ronald, this is your question. Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm always in the dark on these, but go ahead. Yes.
All right. These are the clues. Okay,
Yes.
it isn't necessarily going to be blank. It could also just be the word makes you think of the other. The clues are
Right.
the Kinks, Falana, Montez.
That's hard. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Say it again. Just do it slowly.
Yeah, one more time.
One more time. 3 clues. The Kinks, Falana, Montez.
Oh, my Lord.
Montez. Gosh, that's really tricky. Something in the news, right? That goes with those 3.
Kind of.
Wow.
Kind of, yeah.
Kind of.
Well, yeah, well, it does, but I fudged it a little bit, not that much.
Okay, just a little. Well, let's see. Montez, I can only think of Lola, but it's got to be something else than that. I'll just guess and say I don't know. She's all over the news, so I have to say Lisa Marie. I don't know what it has to do with those 3, but I'll give it a shot.
So your answer is what?
Final answer. I'm just in the dark. Yes.
I hate to step on your blue suede shoes, but Lisa Marie is not the answer there. So I'm going to roll the die and see who might get to steal this question. Richard, I just came up with a number 3 on the die roll.
I can see on their faces, they know exactly the answer.
The only thing that made me think of the Kinks is Jeff Beck.
Oh, yep.
So I say Jeff Beck. I don't know.
Is that your final answer? Well, much as I would love to be at your beck and call, Richard, I'm afraid not. I'm afraid it's a glotta. So, Eva Heinemann, have you got an answer? What these 3 clues make you think of what other clue? The clue that we're looking for. The Kinks, Falana, Montez.
See, I was with him with Lola and the Kinks and well, I'll go with the other dead musician, David Crosby then.
Interesting.
Is that your final answer?
Well, obviously he's wrong because Joyce basically said, "Oh, that's interesting," but yeah.
Well, she doesn't have the score sheet. She doesn't know.
I want to give tribute to all the dead musicians that died this week. So yeah, I'm just going to give him his due, whether it's right or not.
Right.
Is that your final?
Yeah.
I'm afraid you're going to have to sail your wooden ship away from that particular answer because it's getting to the point where.
Well, I'm not young anymore.
Oh,
So
God.
this kills me. I stumped the panel, but I didn't. Both of you guys. But the answer, it was
Diga.
the Kinks were the clue. The Kinks, Montez, Falana. All
Okay.
go with Lola.
Oh.
Yes.
The answer was Lola.
Lola.
Oh, that was the first thing I thought of, but you
Well, that's
said
what I did say, but I didn't do it my final answer.
Why didn't
Yeah.
you? As soon as you said it, I
Because-
always got it.
but how is
But
Lola
why
in
is
the news?
but why is Lola in the news?
Because when you're talking about dead people, one of the other dead people who died this past week was Gina Lola Brigida.
Oh, Lola.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
oh, well, that's a stretch.
It is a stretch, but you had it. You two of you had it.
Yeah, I did have
Not
it.
yell.
Well, I thought Lola.
Do not yell at
Yeah.
the contestants, David.
I'm sorry. I get head up.
Do not yell
I
at
get
the
head up.
contestants. Control
No,
Who voted for that one?
Because you guys got it, and that always burns me when you have it and then they don't get it because you overthink it or you're no.
Yeah, on this show,
Yeah.
never overthink it.
Yeah, never. No,
Well, I thought it has to be the whole name, but obviously an abbreviation can work too.
it makes you think of something else. Makes you think of
Uh-huh.
Lola Brigida. Anyway,
Brigida. Got it.
who was, by the way, remember Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young, and Lola Brigida lasted 2 albums.
Oh,
Not
Whoa.
great. She's sort of the Nico of the group. Anyway,
you're just giving your guests some information for a new play, poem, show,
yeah, that's the
That's
wheels
right.
are turning. Now,
or
speaking.
therapy moment.
This is my therapy. So here's
Bridge
the
to
deal.
cross.
We still have one question left in our first round, and it goes directly to our brand new friend of the Daverhood, Richard Vetere. And Richard, you get a multiple choice question, so it's a more normative, abnormal question. And again, it's something that happened on January 21st, but this is 1946. And oh boy, it has to do with theater. In a way, opening tonight at Broadway's Adelphi Theater is Johnny Burke and Jimmy Van Heusen's new musical, Nellie Bly, based on groundbreaking journalist and inventor Nellie Bly. Which of these is false about this extraordinary woman? A, her pseudonym was based on the title character of a song by George M. Cohan. B, her husband was 42 years her senior. C, she patented a new design for garbage cans. Or D, there's an Ecuadorian tarantula named after her.
Good Lord.
None of them sound real.
Yeah. That's a
Do it
great
one more time.
Of
And
course.
one of them is false.
Only one of them is false. All the others are true about Nellie Bly. Which of these is false? A, her pseudonym was based on the title character of a song by George M. Cohan. B, her husband was 42 years her senior. C, she patented a new design for garbage cans. Or D, there's an Ecuadorian tarantula named after her.
I don't know why. I'm going with number one is false.
You're saying that it is not true that her pseudonym was based on a song by George M. Cohan.
Yeah, because none of them sound real.
Is that your final answer, though?
Yeah, sure.
You're a grand old playwright and a high-flying playwright because you have 2 points. Yay!
Yay.
You did get that right. Let me give you some background on this. Nellie Bly was, of course, was not her real name, but she was based on a song by Stephen Foster.
yeah.
So I played, that was a Stephen Foster song.
Tricky.
By the way,
Yeah.
the musical Nellie Bly closed after 16 performances on Broadway, but the real Nellie Bly did marry a millionaire industrialist and took over his company when he died.
That I know.
And apparently she was a really nice, fair boss, but a lousy businesswoman, and it went bankrupt. She did patent designs for garbage cans and milk cans,
Wow.
and the Latin name for that spider is Pamphibedius nellieblyae. So it really is that a spider that they named after Nellie Bly. A really great woman.
Unbelievable.
Wait, was the Nellie Bly song written by George M. Cohan or Stephen Foster?
The song was written by Foster.
But George M. made it famous?
No, George M. Cohan has nothing to do with anything. I threw that in. That was the falsehood.
Oh,
It has nothing to do with anything. That was, it was a.
oh, false. We're going with false. See, I told you I'm not a morning person. I was thinking, oh, they're all true except, oh, okay, got it.
Leslie did that all the time back in the day. When Leslie would play, it took her a long time to get that. Oh, they're false, and or they're
Just
true.
say the one that's true. Make it simple.
I did. I said which is false or which is well, maybe anyway. So here we go. That was the end of the first round, and at the end of the first round, we have a tie game between Ron with 2 points and Richard with 2 points.
Whoa.
Eva, you're not yet on the board, but anything can change in round 2 of our today.
Oh, I don't want to break my streak. I want to lose. I'm proud of it.
Oh God.
Oh, you must be Jewish. All right, here we go. Here's the question going directly to Eva Heinemann. But Eva, I can't. Can you hold it up closer?
What does it say?
Oh, can I get it there?
There. Oh, I said Jewish star. Nosh something. Can you read the question?
That's
I
funny.
can't really make out. Nosh.
Oh,
A
there it is.
little. Kibitz a little. Enjoy. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Eva.
But we're
This
good.
is exactly what we're doing here on
I
the
think
table.
you should get 2 points for that. Give her 2 points.
Yeah, but what the heck? Post game.
Points. I get 50 points.
Well, Eva, I hate to do this to you,
Oh no.
but your question
Oh,
is
God,
another
no.
3 clues in the
Oh.
news.
God.
Wow.
Wouldn't it be funny if it's David Crosby?
It's not. All right. I just gave away one thing. It's not David Crosby. But you know how it works now. It's 3 words or clues that will lead you to think of another clue of something that's in the news. Okay?
You two get ready to answer this.
Yeah, come on, you get this one. This will be this.
Oh,
Maybe,
God.
maybe. The words are band, sale, parking.
Wait, say it again slowly.
Band, sale, parking.
They either hit you or they don't,
Yeah.
It's one or the other, yeah.
I'm sure it has nothing in common, but the only thing I think that goes with parking is lot. I mean, I don't know about sale lot or band lot, but I'll say lot. Otherwise, I'll be thinking forever.
Well, this is what we do as writers. But yeah, or is that your final answer?
Sure.
Well, Eva, we love you a lot, but that is not the right answer, I'm afraid. It was good. It was a very good guess, though. I'm going to roll the die, and the die comes up number 4, which is nobody, and it comes up number 6, which normally would be Leslie, but she's not here. So now we have the 5. Ron, do you have?
Okay, say them one more time, please.
The 3 clues in the news are band, sale,
Sale,
parking.
sale. Parking, ticket, band, what goes with a band, a band, oh, I'll say, Band-Aid, parking lot. I'll try aid. I don't know, it goes with band.
Oh, interesting.
Band-Aid.
Yeah.
Is that your
Final answer. First thing comes to my mind.
Well, I wish I could aid you with that. It's not the correct one.
Okay.
So, Richard, you have an answer that might put you in front.
He looks very confident, yes.
No, congestion pricing is the only thing that comes to mind.
Oh, congestion. Is that going to be your final?
Yeah, it has to be, because I can't think of anything else.
Well, I would normally say congestion pricing is the stuff. Okay, congestion stuff. But no. Oh, guys. So here's the deal. 3 clues in the news: band, sale, parking. Joyce, do you want to try one?
Ticket. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought of that too, but it doesn't make sense, yeah.
Give us a hint.
Where
Yeah.
might you park?
A lot?
The parking lot.
Or
No,
Garage,
Garage.
no,
Street.
tree,
no,
Meter.
Think of,
Parking.
does anybody do work on a Mac? Editing?
No.
No.
Oh,
What is
You
it?
sure got us this time.
Yeah.
Garage band? Garage.
yes,
Gar-
garage.
Garage?
Garage band. What, sorry?
I said garage when we were guessing just now.
Yeah,
Oh,
me too.
yeah, well, Garage is it. Garage Band, which is both a program on the Mac, and of course, if you've ever heard of Garage Band, and then Garage Sale and a parking garage. And Garage is in the news.
What's a garage
It
sale?
is.
Yeah.
How is it in the news?
Like a garage sale is when people have stuff and they sell it in their driveway.
Oh, people who live in the don't know what
Oh.
garage sales are. Wow.
Yeah, it's like
I didn't think of that.
It's like you know, people don't make any money, but you put everything you own when you move on your lawn.
Oh,
And
we call that a yard sale in my neck of the woods.
yes, Eva.
It is called a yard sale, but it's also a garage second.
But is garage in the news?
Yes, it is. It is. It might bring down the Biden administration because he left all these classified documents.
Oh, in his garage.
Oh,
Yeah, it was like the
Of
biggest
course.
news of the first part of the week. That
Okay.
he found all these things in his
Yeah.
garage.
David, I have to
Okay.
go.
I thought of it in his car, not his garage.
Okay, fair enough. So, all right, I stumped the panel again with these 3 clues in the news, but this next
Unbelievable.
question, which is going directly to Ron. So, Ron, again,
Oh.
you're still tied with Richard
Okay.
with 2 points. So, if you get this right, you will vaunt ahead, if you will.
Okay.
This is another multiple choice. This is January 21st, 1846. Okay. Extra, read all about it. Brand new newspaper published in the United Kingdom, founded and edited by none other than Charles Dickens. What was the name of that periodical that lasted until 1930 when it merged with another paper? Was it
Wow.
A, the London Chronicle, B, the Times Gazette, C, the World, D, the Daily News?
Ooh.
It's so interesting. I should know that right off the top of my head since I created a new adaptation of the Christmas Carol and brought Charles Dickens to life. So that should be something that I know. But I think I'm going to go with the Times Gazette.
Is that your
That's
final
my
answer?
final answer. Yes.
Wait, hold on. Oh, the time's off for you. That is not the correct answer. And by the way,
Okay.
doing a new I'll do the question, but why another new adaptation? What do you bring to the table of A Christmas Carol that hasn't been?
That's a great question.
Oh, what I decided to do was to actually recreate the way he actually did his talks and how he brought them to life. So I had the actual table recreated and the actual thing he leaned his arm on. And actually, I had people in the audience that I had worked with become the different people. So they were part of the community. So they were dressed up as the different people in the story.
That's freaking
So
cool.
they actually came up out of the audience. And as Charles Dickens was, bringing all of the characters to life, they actually became the characters. And because everybody in the audience who were part of the community knew them, there was this whole feeling of, oh, yeah, my goodness, look at him. And it was this whole thing to come to life that
Where did you
they
do
didn't
that?
expect to see.
Where
Actually did that down in northern Alabama, in a small town, Tuscumbia, as part of Charles Dickens. And it was a special Dickens Day and a Dickens Week, and they always have this great celebration there. So they invited me to do something for the celebration. It was great fun. Yes.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
It really is.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry to take us away from the question though, which
Yes.
now gets to be stolen.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. Well, maybe. I'm gonna roll the die. 1, 6, 5, which is wrong again. No, a 1, a 6. Jesus, 1, 1, 6, 3. Wait, somebody's got a 3. Richard, you're a
Wow.
3. I'll read the question again, or part of it. So, brand new newspaper founded and edited by Charles Dickens debuts today in 1846. What was the name of that periodical that lasted until 1930 before it merged with another paper? Was it A, the London Chronicle, C, the World, or D, the Daily News?
I'm gonna go with the Daily News.
Any particular reason?
No,
Is that your final answer?
final answer.
Well, I'm going to have to post 2 points to your account because that is the correct answer.
Oh, wow, well done.
Jumped ahead.
Richard, and by the way, it is common for people who play the game for the first time to get no points at all, and you already have 4 and are leading in the game. I should mention that there was a London Chronicle. It was 100 years even before Dickens, and then which was the Times Gazette was 200 years earlier, and is still running as a government journal out there, so that still exists. And then, but the Daily News, who knew that?
Well, it's a good name, and he was really good at names. So the Daily News, you know,
I would
straightforward.
have named it like Irving, and it would have been. Actually, if I were Washington Irving, and I'd make it that way. Anyway, okay, so
You would name it Dave's Gone By.
I probably would.
It should have been named the
exactly.
Pickwick Papers.
Now there you go. Now here's the deal, Richard. You
Blinks the birdcage.
Mhm.
you have 2 points. Sorry, you have 4 points, Richard. You are in the lead, right? If you get this question now goes directly to you. If you get it right, even with the tie, you win, no matter what. If you get this right, if you get it wrong and someone steals, we can have a tie game. Are you muttering as we speak?
Well, get ready for the cage.
All right. Okay.
Cage.
I mean, I know you've sat at a table with Robert De Niro and Al Pacino and Mike Tyson, but this is it. All right, here we go.
I sat in the gelato store with, what's the guy with the Do the Right Thing?
Spike Lee?
No, the Italian kid.
Oh, wait, Danny Aiello.
No,
you
the
did-
young one.
John Turturro.
Yes!
And we both were in the Hamptons years ago on a little vacation, and we saw Alec Baldwin buying pizza. And then he shot us a look. But
Your jokes are getting rusty.
Well, we also saw the B-52s guy at a yard sale in the Hamptons.
we did. That's right. We saw Frank
Nice.
Schneider with the B-52s. Anyway, Rock Lobster. All right, here's the deal.
Oh my God.
Now, Richard, you also, though, get one of our weirder questions now. It's not another 3 clues in the news, but we call this Change One Letter.
Ooh,
And-
those are fun.
And this, see, everybody loves this one, and they hate the 3 clues in the
I
news.
love this one.
Not
Yes.
everybody loves this one. I wouldn't go that far.
So here's how it works. I'll give you a sample one first. But the idea is I read a short, tiny little poem, a piece of doggerel. And then the doggerel is going to make you think of one answer. And then that answer is going to make you think of another answer. And both of them are just 1 letter apiece
And then
from each other.
And
And
that
each,
will make you cry.
and each, I know that sounds insane. Let me give you an example. Okay, so here's, so each one poem has 2 clues. And the clues are only 1 letter apart.
He knows how to write a poem, David.
That's true. So here's the fake one, the sample one. It holds any picture you've got, change 1 letter, and it's hot. So what would that make you think of? What 2 words?
Just tell him so we can see the
Yeah.
logic. You
Yeah,
know?
give me the answer. Okay.
So in other words, it holds, what holds a picture on the wall?
Frame.
Right behind frame,
Hmm.
change 1 letter, and it's hot.
Woo! Like a candle has a.
Oh, flame.
Frame, flame.
Once you get the gist of it, then it's easier. But
Yeah.
it's hard to just
Now, Ron, are you feeling okay? Because you're constantly.
I seem to be having some shaking issues. I'm not sure exactly.
It
I
looks
don't know
like you're
what's going
turning into
on here.
Winston
It's just-
Churchill at one point.
gremlins. Sometimes
Yeah.
Zoom has gremlins who come in and do things.
Yeah, I see that. It's like, but
Yeah,
I think it's
too.
Winston Churchill.
You're like,
yeah, maybe I should go out and come back in or something. I don't
Well,
know.
hey chat, what's up?
if you have to, we can just go to audio on you. Well, that would kind of suck.
Well, no, it's just wanting to flash, and I've never had that happen before.
Oh, I flashed on camera and I've gotten complaints. But so, Richard, are you kind of semi-confident in what this?
Semi, but might as well. Let's go.
Here
Ready?
we go. Here we go. The year, by the way, was 1926. So this is someone who was born on January 21st, 1926. And here's the poem about them. This Mr. Universe was Herculean in the B movies he made. Change one letter, and you have the Crane brothers' hot maid.
Oh, wait, go slow again, say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll change one letter. Okay. This Mr. Universe was Herculean in the B movies he made. Change one letter, and you have the Crane brothers' hot maid.
Can I just take a guess of who it is?
Well, there's two, but yeah, try one and see if it brings you to the other.
Christopher Reeves. He was Hercules and he was Mr. Universe, I think.
Mhm.
So that might be one clue.
It could
Right.
be Reed
So that's
and-
1 point if it's
yeah,
correct.
Christopher and Blistifer or something like that.
Christopher
Or Reed.
Reeves. Sleeve.
Change one letter. If that's the correct answer,
Yeah.
change one letter.
Oh, no, he was born in 1926?
So 1926 was the year that the first person you're thinking of was born.
Okay.
And
Now,
the second person was not born in 1926, but yeah,
give me the rest of the clue.
sure. So this Mr. Universe was Herculean in the B movies he made. Change one letter, and you have the Crane brothers' hot maid.
Yeah, that's where I'm lost. I don't know who the Crane brothers are. Hot maid.
Well, you can also promote your new project. You don't have to answer the question.
Jennifer Lopez?
Woo!
Maid, because I just saw Maid in Manhattan. Christopher, because I know Christopher Reeve played Hercules. 26 Reeve.
But he wasn't born in 1926.
No. Oh, yeah, that's the problem. Yeah. I don't know who else played Hercules. No, I don't know. B movies. No. So I'll go Zaguata.
Zaglaga. So you're not even going to take a shot on either of those. You're not going to, you're just going to go
Yeah.
no answer at all. But Zaglada, which by the way is playing on Monday night for free at the St. Clements Theater, just telling. So, all right, I'm going to bing. That we're going to roll the die, and somebody has a chance to steal here. Number 3 again, number 1, number 5, Ron.
Oh, okay. Can you say it one more time?
Oh, well,
What
I'll say the whole thing one more time.
Yes.
Born in 1926. Here we go. This Mr. Universe was Herculean in the B movies he made. Change one letter, and you have the Crane brothers' hot maid. A lot of clues all the way through this.
So confusing.
1926, and you've got. Well, I'd have to say Jeeves. I don't know. I'll try that one.
Well, again,
Jeeves.
1 point, or what would be if?
Say it again.
Well, no,
Sorry?
we need 2 different clues. There should be 2 letters away from each other. So what are your 2?
Think of like
clues?
flame and frame.
Yeah.
It has to be something like that. The name can convert.
Oh, Flame and Frame. Wow. Okay, that's interesting.
Steve.
Oh,
No, I can't
gosh. Yeah. Well then, Heaves. I'll
What
try
is your first
HEA.
clue? So what is your first clue?
Say the
One more
thing
time.
one more time, please.
One more time.
Yeah.
This Mr. Universe was Herculean in the B movies he made. Change one letter, and you have the Crane brothers' hot maid.
Who is the Crane brothers and who is a hot maid? That's what throws me. Let's see.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I'm just completely perflunked here. It just doesn't. I don't know. I don't get it. But let's see. I don't know. I'm in the same boat as he is, as Richard. I'm completely perflunked here. Yeah, you got me too.
No,
I can't think.
not even one of them. No guess at all.
I can just. I mean, it would. I mean,
Yeah.
believe. I don't know. Something like that. I don't know. That really strange. I'm sorry, I don't get it.
So you're gonna pass, or you just
Yeah, I'll have to pass because it just
SoulAmericanActor.com is
complex me.
what
Yeah,
was it? It's Soul
Kaplunked.
American. Yeah, you're so you'll give, what is the name of the website? Is SoulAmericanActor.com?
Oh, Soul American Actor is my newspaper, soulamericanactor.com. Yes.
SoulAmericanActor.com. So that's
Yes.
the answer. Eva,
Oh.
you can get on the board at this moment. By the way, congratulations, Richard Vetere. You have won the game. But Eva, you can try and get on the points with board with 2
Oh,
points.
definitely not. But I'm just gonna cheat and combine the two of them because I think it was Steve Reeves, not Christopher Reeve. But I remember like the
Yeah.
first Superman. He was also in Gone with the Wind. I mean, I think he played Hercules. So I think his name was Steve Reeves. So he would be older. And then I love Jeeves, Reeves and Jeeves. It works. So I'm gonna go with Reeves and Jeeves.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, why not? This way I homage to both of you.
Well, the butler did it one more time. Eva, I'm very happy to say that you've gotten on the board
Well, Eva.
No.
with 1 point, because you are absolutely right. It was in fact Steve Reeves, not Christopher Reeve.
Right,
Superman,
right.
not Hercules. But Steve Reeves did all these this is this hunky Mr.
Yeah.
Guy. Steve Reeves, and all that. Change one letter, and you have the Crane Brothers Hot Maid.
What
So
the
the Crane Brothers
It's
were
that.
Fraser and Niles Crane on
Oh.
That-
Frasier,
Oh,
Frasier.
yeah.
and their
Yes.
maid, who was an actress who was also on the show Hot in Cleveland.
Daphne.
Oh,
Her name,
Yes.
Jane Leaves.
Oh, that's
oh,
Leaves. Wow.
No, I didn't
Wow.
think that.
that's too esoteric.
Was that really too esoteric?
Esoteric City?
I should
That
have.
was pretty
Hey.
far stretch. Yes.
Eva, you were right. I was thinking of Reeves. I had the wrong Reeves. You're right. Steve
Yeah.
Reeves was. I can't remember his first name.
Yeah, I kept seeing his face. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's too much. I should have
He
said the
played
Fraser.
Hercules. Yeah.
I should
I
have said
thought
Fraser.
Arnold
Niles Maid.
Schwarzenegger at first because he was a Mr. Universe, but then I realized, wait, 1926, so he's not like 100 years old.
Right.
Yeah. And I was thinking of a maid in 1926, so it didn't connect at all.
Yeah, I was wrong.
That was a bad, poorly written question.
It was not. It was a beautifully written.
It was a very obscure connection.
And by the way, Hercules in New York features my favorite actor of all time, Arnold Stang. So there. I mean, you want to talk about hot. You want to talk about a hunk. Oh, Arnold Stang, man. Anyway, don't go away yet, because we still have the tiebreaker, even though there's no need for it. Even though Richard Vetere is our champion
Okay.
with 4 points and wins over Ronald with 2, and Eva on the board with 1. But we all still do the tiebreaker just for funsies. And it's just one more question. It's a fill in the blank. It's not a multiple choice or anything. What I will ask though is, because it's a little different, Richard, do you all have something to write with and something to write on?
Yeah.
Great.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, these are writers.
We've never had a guest who was prepared.
But remember, I can't write, so we do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do? That's right. Sorry, Eva. What we're gonna do is.
Explain. Eva can. Eva's capable of writing. Like, don't be
It's
like.
Shabbos.
Accurate, yeah, right.
I can't write Eva.
It's Shabbos, and Eva is kind enough to be on the show with us, but she can't do any work like
But she's
writing.
really a beautiful writer.
And which is
on other days.
really weird because Eva's Presbyterian. But
No, it was, I just
But anywho, so here's the deal. What we're going to play it like this is, normally all 3 of you, when I give the countdown, would just hold up your piece of paper to the so we can see your answer. Richard and Ronald, I'll ask you to do that, and when I give the countdown, Eva, at the same time, you'll just say it, so you don't have to write it down. Okay? Cool. Eva, you there? Yeah. Okay, got it. So here's the deal. I'm going to read the question. You're going to think about it, write your answers. And then I'll read the question one more time, and I'll go 3, 2, 1, at which point you hold up your answers, and Eva, you speak yours. Cool? All right. Last question of our Today Yesterday quiz. Born today, January 21st, 1924, in Hampshire, England, is Alfred Hawthorne Hill best known to the world of comedy as Benny Hill. For nearly 35 years, his show ran on the BBC, and for most of those years, episodes ended with Hill being chased in sped-up motion, Keystone Cops style, to a song composed by James Spider Rich and Boots Randolph. Can you name that tune?
They don't name people like that anymore, you know? Like names like Spider Moore.
And Boots Randolph, yeah.
Now it's like Slim, right?
But that's the question. And I'll read it again, and then I'll read it one more time, just before we say it. But it's Born Today is Benny Hill. For nearly 35 years, his show ran on the BBC. For most of those years, episodes ended with Benny Hill being chased in sped-up Keystone Cop style motion to a song, I'm sure you hear it in your heads, composed by James Spider Rich and Boots Randolph. Can you name that tune?
We're waiting for you.
When you have something written?
Yes.
You do?
I have something written. We can write something. We're writers, but it's a
All
mystery.
right, I wrote something.
Yeah, exactly. We wrote something.
Eva, do you have something down also?
I guess something.
Oh, All right.
Yeah.
I'm going to read it one more time. I'll give a clue since you guys seem to be a little... the song itself was composed and released in 1963, if that's any help. Or if anything, it's got something going back way, way, way earlier than that. So.
Okay.
1963.
1963. Gosh.
That makes my mind even go more blank.
Yeah, I was barely out of the crib. I remember.
I had a really good guess that was silly, and now I can't use it.
I'm sticking with what I have because it doesn't work.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm gonna still stick with silly.
All right, stick with silly. I'm going to read the question one more time. And then I'm going to 3, 2, 1. Eva, you'll say what you're thinking, and Richard and Ronald,
Sure.
when I hit 1, you'll say your thing. Born January 21st, 1924, as Alfred Hawthorne Hill, Benny Hill. He had a show for 35 years on the BBC, and most episodes ended with him being chased around in fast motion Keystone Cops style to a song composed by James Spider Rich and Boots Randolph. Can you name that tune? 3, 2, 1.
Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes, Run for Your Life.
For your life.
Milk Run?
Yeah, I don't know. Milk
Run
Run.
for your life. I have no idea.
No, can you, and before I give it time, can you all hum a few bars? Can you know how it goes?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Da, 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 da,
Ah, yeah, right.
The name of that song is Yakety Sax.
Oh, right.
Oh, of
Yeah.
course it is. Yes,
Yeah.
I knew
That's
that.
disgusting. Yakety Sax?
Never
Eva,
would've
you look
guessed.
like you knew that one.
It's saxophone. Yeah. No, not Yakety Sax.
This is one of those
Catty person,
obscure
so yes, I know all about
Saturdays.
Yankee.
If you're an insect that rubs its genitals together, it might be a Yakety Sax of something. No, it's just a saxophone. Yeah,
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Wow. What a quiz we had today. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had the delight of playing the Today, Yesterday quiz with such wonderful people, such 3 great friends of the Daverhood and let me thank them so much. First of all, to our champion, a new friend of the Daverhood, Richard Vetere. I gotta invite you back. Next time you have a show up or a movie come out, please, if you want to.
I will, definitely.
Please, because there's so many other questions to ask you, and a delight. And Richard, here's the deal. How do people, I know tickets are free, but how can people get to see Zaglada this Monday night at the St. Clements Theater in reading with Len Carrier?
Yeah, it's I think we're sold out, but if they show up at the theater at 6:00 and sign on to the waiting list, they'll get in.
Oh, yay.
Nice.
It's always cancellation.
So even if 800 people show up,
No.
there's a chimney, There's a fire escape. They'll no, but
You don't want like a riot.
comes-
You don't want to have.
We'll
a-
get them in. We'll
if
get
you
'em.
miss it, I'll bet you the thing is, the point of this is maybe within a year or two, it'll be playing off Broadway and you can really see it then.
Well,
And you can always reach me on my website, richardvetereauthor.com.
Have I been mispronouncing your name the whole time?
No. If you're in Italy, it's Vetere. If you're in Queens, it's Vetere. But I like what you were saying because I've heard that too. Richard Vetere is good.
Well, I was saying Vetere, so I've been messing up. Should have asked the press agent. I apologize to Richard Hillman. I apologize to you most of all,
Don't worry,
Richard
don't worry.
Vetere. So wait, which is your preferred? What do you prefer?
You know, Vetere is what I remember being called in grammar school, so that's still there.
Well, you're leaving me Vetere-eyed. So Vetere, Richard Vetere, go to Richard Vetere, VETERE.com for so much.
richardvetereauthor.com.
Sorry.
That's okay. richardvetereauthor.com.
I apologize.
No.
Yeah, is there another? Did you do that specifically because there was another richardvetere.com?
There was a younger Rich Vetere who got in trouble with the law, banking, but he was at least 25 years younger than me. He does live in New York City. Now there seems to be a proliferation of Veteres. When I was growing up, there was 11 in the New York phone book. Now there's so many more Veteres. It's weird.
Oh, well, I just ate yesterday at the cafeteria. But I'm sorry.
I grew up with who could be named Vetere, but I never heard of him.
Good choice. By the way, Ronald Rand. So,
Yes.
I know you've been working on that opera about Henrik Ibsen's A Doll's House.
Yeah, I wrote the first opera ever written about Henrik Ibsen. That's
That's
right.
great.
It's now under consideration by a major opera house.
That's great.
Thank you.
And are you doing Harold Clurman anywhere? What's happening?
Yes, well, I've been awarded my second Fulbright by the U.S. State Department, and we're in discussion right now to bring me to Turkey to do my show, Let It Be Art, and to be
Great.
there for 6 weeks. So that's in
Congratulations.
the works. Thank you. And my new book, Solo Transformation on Stage, is doing very well. And now I'm into the 24th year of the Soul of the American Actor newspaper. So
Great.
a busy year. So, and plus my feature film screenplay is under consideration by a producer in Hollywood. So we'll keep our fingers crossed.
Knocking wood, yay. Now, certainly not to be left out is Eva Heinemann. Now, Eva, you do, is it weekly or bi-weekly that you do High Drama, the TV show?
Bi-weekly. And the best place to see it is on YouTube because that's when we fix all the mistakes. In fact, oh my God, we're having a crisis right now. My poor editor, all his power went out.
Ooh.
So he can only give the first draft of the show. So it's going to be, so anyway, it's pretty
But
bad.
what is the YouTube channel? Is it,
It's Eva Heinemann.
and spell it like that cartoon anime character, Heinemann.
But yeah, I'm not the monster. I'm not the Japanese anime. I'm actually a real person. I'm Eva Heinemann, High Drama.
High Drama. And if people still have cable or MNN, they're still showing it, right?
Oh yeah. It's on Saturdays. It'll be on next Saturday, January 21st, and then
That's today. Today's January 21st, Eva. So it's
January 28th. I get mixed up because we got to film it a week in advance. So January 28th and then February 4th is the next one.
Well, everybody check out High Drama. Everybody check out all the work that's being done by Ronald Rand. And of course, Richard
Gotta get a
Vetere.
ticket, standby. Wait
So, delight to have you all in the Daverhood. It's been an absolute wonder. I hope you've all enjoyed it too. I'm going to ask you to do the dating game blow kisses thing while I let you go out of the Zoom room. See you all very, very soon. And thanks again to everyone.
Thank you.
And if you're watching, don't go away because we've got more Dave's Gone By coming at you. Keep blowing those kisses. Don't be lazy. Come on, keep it going. It takes time to remove you guys. Here we go. Oh, there they go. All right, I'm still here. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. It's 11:15 Eastern Time in the Daverhood, and you're watching my show. If you want to know more about my program, we have, oh God, my hair's all frizzy fuzzy. Must be the weather. There we go. It's not the heat, it's the stupidity. That's it. There you go. So, davesgoneby.com, DAVESGONEBY, davesgoneby.com. ColoGuard.com is the place where we keep all the archives of the show, and that includes, honest to gosh, every episode we've ever done.
What did you take a picture of here? Do you know?
Are you sure that was me on your phone?
That's your phone. That's your phone.
All right, I'm going to show this.
It was like Rice's
my-
honey in Greeley. I guess you were taking it for that, but then what is that?
I have.
Do you know what that is?
Well, you can't even see it on the screen. It's kind of.
It's a blur of a blur.
I don't even. I can't even. This is. I was anticipating what Ronald's screen was looking like while he was doing this. Yeah,
What
I don't.
happened?
I probably was just putting the phone away and accidentally hit the.
Maybe his Wi-Fi got funky.
Well, I'm going to delete that. There we go. Move to trash. Bye. Okay. But anyway, davesgoneby.com.
Oh, sorry.
So the first program we ever did, it was 57 minutes on terrestrial radio
Oh,
back in October of 2002. It's there. You can listen to it. You hear what I sounded like 20
Leslie's
years
okay.
ago.
Is Leslie okay?
Read her text thing.
Oh, okay.
Not on the air.
No, I'm gonna read it in like.
But we give a shout out to Leslie Hobank Blake, who's a little under the weather, and David Sheward, who is a little under or overworked. So that's the reason they couldn't be with us this week. Where are we at? Also want to let you know that we put our archives at archive.org. Archive.org. This is a not-for-profit website. I have nothing to do with it, except there's a Dave's Gone By channel where you can listen and watch every episode we've done. Plus, just like davesgoneby.com, there's a separate archive of all the interviews that we've done. So you're going to check that out. And if you're just into the audio, because this has been a radio show for 15 years before we started doing all the video, and I still think of it kind of as a radio show, because if this was television, this might as well be 1937. But Castbox.fm, if you're into podcasts, if you want to be on the go and listen to the show without having to see it, Castbox.fm is a really cool place because it's really easy to download the show, audio only, as a podcast. Plus, we have a YouTube channel, Dave's Gone By, and tons of ways to listen to episodes and see episodes of the show.
This picture of a nurse that says "Get well or else."
Yeah,
Okay.
can you do that? That would be
That's
really
fine.
nice. So that's more about the show, and also the fact that you can email me, davesgoneby@aol.com, davesgoneby@aol.com. I read everything I get. I can't necessarily respond to every message, and my apologies also to folks who have tried to friend me on Facebook over the years. I'm very happy and proud to say this. Facebook allows you, in the kind of account that I have, up to 5,000 friends. And then after that, even to this day, for some crazy reason,
It won't send the picture.
5,000. My phone won't send gifts. It won't do it.
Yeah.
Or it will do it and it'll tell you it won't, but it sent it. That's my phone. But I've got close to, I'm in the 4,900 range in terms of friends on Facebook, as opposed to friends of the Daverhood. So I get, like every day, a couple of people who want to, friends of the show. Either they know about the program and they're like, oh, I want to be apprised of this. I want to keep track of this website, or this Facebook website. Or it's just that they're friends of a friend, or they see that I'm friends with a lot of people who are in film and theater and writing and entertainment and music and stuff. And they go, oh, I have friends. I have 8 friends of yours, and they seem to like you, so let's be friends. But my problem is, I just don't have time to deal with, vetting who's friends and who are like, hot Asian women who are wanting to spam me from China, or Vladimir Putin's residence. And just having to start dealing with, well, if I let more people in, I've got to delete people, because otherwise I'm going to hit the ceiling.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Do they still have the limit?
Yeah, 5,000.
That's
So
the limit. Why?
I don't, because back in the day when they created the Facebook, it never occurred to them.
Oh, that there'd be such an.
The whole point was so college friends, 50 people hanging together. It wasn't the idea of, it wasn't supposed to be a marketing thing. It was supposed to be just friends keeping in touch. So, so I've got 4,900 something friends Yeah, who are keeping in touch. What, sorry?
Do you what? Tell me when you need me now.
Well, what we can do, we've got still Greeley Crimes and Old Times to do, and we have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned to do, and just some talking to do. So if I want to get dressed first, I can do a little bit of the talking about the week, and then come back for Greeley Crimes and Old Times. All right. So,
I just need my clothes.
but anyway, so I do have. I think you can listen to the show on Facebook without being a friend. It's public. So all I have to do is go to the site and you can listen. Because otherwise I'd be limited, obviously, in how many people can actually listen to the show. But I apologize again. If you've been waiting, sometimes I'll look back and they're not even in chronological order, which is insane. So it'll list all the people who want to be friends on Facebook. And this person, said 2 days ago, hey, here's a message. And then there's someone who's been waiting like 17 weeks to hear from me. I'm like, yeah. And then someone from 5 weeks, and then someone from yesterday.
I don't know.
So I get to whom I get to.
You can't sort them in some way?
No, I cannot chronologically sort them.
That's interesting.
And again, it has gotten to the point where I've got to one by one defriend people and unfriend people in order to make room for people that I friend. So that's basically where I
Anybody who's
am.
like a chatbot, you can unfriend your chatbot friends.
I'm hoping I don't have any or many of those. But I do get friends. Sometimes you have that decision of like, they're in their 90s and they haven't posted anything on Facebook in 2.5
It's a
years.
fake account, yeah.
Well, no, or they were fine,
Oh.
and now they're no longer. I had to unfriend Jerry Blavitt yesterday, our friend of the Daverhood,
That's sad.
Philadelphia DJ. Nothing against his family. I hope it doesn't hurt that he suddenly has one less friend on Facebook now that he's dead.
I think people leave it just so they know what's like they can track.
Yeah, people can say on the anniversary of his birthday, oh, we remember him. And it's kind of nice for the family to see. But I also need to make it, it's cruel. But life is cruel. Anyway, I'm Dave Lefkowitz. It's about 10 to 11 in the morning Eastern time. What do I want to talk about this week? What is there to mention?
Whatever you want, honey. It's your show.
Well, it was a fairly quiet-ish week as I get ready to start teaching again next week. I was yakking a week ago about how I'm not a distracted driver generally. I'm a pretty careful driver. I'm not the best driver in the world,
Boy. Well,
and I'm way too nervous. But there's this thing now. You ever notice how you do something, you misspell a word once, and then correcting it back
never looks right, yeah.
Not only that, but you end up retyping it the wrong way several times before your fingers. That's very good. Before your fingers kind of relearn the right way, because your brain is automatically
I can't stop it.
telling you how
I
to.
can't stop it.
Good Lord.
I can't.
Well, I know I'm really, really funny. Thank you very much. Thank you.
It's sitcom,
No, you're too
sitcom
kind.
laughter. Sitcom laughter.
Yeah, that's very good. But this happened. Now I'm afraid this is going to start happening to me when I drive
yes.
to
It's
the
usually
university where
food or
Joyce teaches.
product related.
Yeah. So I was telling you that a week or two ago, we were driving. I was giving my wife a lift towards the university where she has to teach, and I got distracted for a moment. Didn't cause an accident or anything, but I noticed that the local Walgreens was trumpeting something called gang flings.
Oh no, here we go.
Which is something I've never friggin' heard of in my life. What the hell is a gang fling? Joyce even knew. She guessed it. She said it was, gang is a detergent thing, and they're making these pods that you kind of throw them in. You don't have to worry about liquids and powders. You throw the thing in, and it cleans your clothes. It's a fling. It's a gang fling. But I was so taken with the name of this thing and the idea of a gang fling that for the moment, and I suddenly like, because it's on a lit billboard, like a sign thing, one of those digital sign
Now
things.
focus, honey, focus.
Are you showing it?
Up to the-
What is that?
Right there. Just block. It's the green one.
Oh, here, this thing. I'm gonna make it. Oh, I can't make it bigger, but here, if you can.
You
There's.
should get some, what do you call that, endorsement.
I should. I'm doing gang flings on the TV. There it is. Look at that. I had never heard of it, and it seems so incongruous because usually you see things like milk or
ice cream,
iced tea, ice
yeah,
cream.
yeah.
Suddenly, gang flings, 3 for a dozen. I'm like, what? But it made me made me pre-anticipate my turn. So I go down the wrong side street because I'm thinking, oh, it's this right turn only lane. And suddenly I'm driving up towards the entrance of an ER, urgent care.
Yeah.
And I'm like panicking because I'm like, I don't want to be blocking any ambulances or something. So I'm turning around. So I did this about 2 weeks ago when I saw the gang flings thing.
Mhm.
And now we're driving again.
Mhm.
Same direction, because I'm driving back. And I've driven this dozens of times.
It's your normal route.
It's my normal. When I was teaching at the uni, Joyce is still teaching there. It's like, this is the route I would
You don't
take.
even need to use the GPS. You know it
Yeah.
right well.
That's the problem.
Yes.
I know it in my head. Oh, I go here, I get into the right lane, I turn here, then go here and avoid this and blah. So only a week and a half later, after I screwed up and had to turn out of that and get back onto the right road, and I'm driving, and Joyce is asking, and we're talking, and said, your birthday is on Monday. My birthday is on Monday.
Happy birthday, honey.
Thank you, and please send your gifts. I'll give you the address if you ask for it. But yeah, I turned 59 years old this Monday, January 23rd. I'm an Aquarius, okay? So means nothing. And Joyce is asking me, well, where do you want to go for your birthday? Well, we're not going to go in because we still don't really eat in restaurants. We're careful, but we'll take out food. And instead of eating in the usual places that we eat all the time, it's my birthday. I want to eat somewhere special, or at least from someplace special. So I'm thinking, do I want sushi? Because that tends to be my usual birthday thing, which is a tradition. But I'm getting a little sick of traditions, so maybe I don't want to do that. So there's an Uzbeki restaurant not that far away, within like 10 miles. So do I want Uzbekistan food? Which includes something I've never tried, but have been dying to, called plav. Yes, there's a food called plav. It's a rice pilaf. It's basically rice pilaf. Plav, pilaf,
Like a
plav.
stew?
No, not so much as this. It's basically meat over rice,
Oh.
but cooked probably with certain Uzbeki, Azerbaijani, spicy kind of things. Yeah, I've always just wanted to try. I have special kind of cool naan breads that are not like Indian naans. So like, oh, thank God, something different to eat, something new.
Oh my goodness, there's an update
What?
about the urination thing. Remember when you did that about
Oh,
the
yeah, all right.
on a woman? Yes.
Hold
You should
this
update
for.
people. I'm
I
sure
will.
they
I
wanna know
will.
what
You know what? We
happened.
have breaking news. This is very important.
You have almost pro. That's unbreaking.
I'm going to click
news.
on it so I can get the actual story. Hold on.
Remember the man? He was like a CEO of a company or CFO. He was in it on the plane and he wee-weed on his passenger front, like the, what do you call it, the seatmate. He didn't know them, but he pee-peed on them.
Yeah, he was. Was he drunk? Was he?
I don't know, but I think he said he was flying a long time, or you know how people do that. Like, I was. He said
And this is a
something.
major executive. This is like some high-level mucky-muck, very expensive salaried guy
Yeah.
gets up and pees
Urinates on a lady.
on the lady next to him. And he was tearfully
And then
apologizing.
somebody tried to stop him, and he kept going. Like it was like a whole thing where it was like, it was bad.
But wait a minute. Oh, but this has nothing to do with him. Check this out. This is. So he lost his job. Duh.
Yeah.
Which is actually really not fair, but God knows what civil suit, or if he's going to clean her clothes. He begged for
But
forgiveness.
think about the company, like what are your hobbies as CFO?
But here's the deal. So that's the deal. He goes on the plane. He gets whatever stonad drunk, and then he wee-wees on this woman, ruins her clothes, and ruins. It kind of freaks her out completely.
And ruins her trip. I mean,
So Bloomberg is reporting now.
it's like, Amma, how was your trip? Well, it was great. I had a nice meal, good flight, no turbulence. But then the guy next to me urinated.
Yeah.
I mean, that's disturbing.
Well,
And they wouldn't stop. One passenger, they had troubles making him stop. I mean, that's.
yeah, she actually flew on El Al. It was El Al all over her. Yeah.
I feel
Yeah.
bad. That's
Oh.
like I hope she.
At least he didn't do Aer Lingus on her.
Oh,
But
yeah.
here's the deal. India's civil aviation regulator has fined Air India
Yeah.
$37,000
Okay.
and suspended the pilot's license for 3 months for not following correct reporting procedures
Oh, see.
after this passenger did the
Yeah.
urination thing on a flight from New York to
Because it
New
was
Delhi.
viral, you know. I'm sure that because the person was wealthy, maybe.
Wait, what the
Who
hell?
knows?
That's the whole story? Oh, continue reading on the. Come on, expand the article. Where the hell? Come on. The Directorate General
Yeah.
Civil Aviation fined Tata Sons owned
Tata?
TATA
I like that, Tata.
Air India 3 million rupees. Shows you how the rupee is still perhaps not up to the dollar. 3 million rupees is $36,900. And they levied another 300,000 rupees, which I think is about $1.50, on a director for in-flight services. Well, our in-flight movie. We have checkers, chess. Oh, and
What's the movie there?
and water sports.
Neil and I in the independent film thing, we saw a movie where somebody did that. There's
Wasn't that
a
Bad
movie-
Lieutenant? No,
I don't know. I forget.
a male passenger conducted himself in a disorderly manner
Yes.
and allegedly relieved himself on a female passenger, the DCCA said. That's basically there's more. Since the incident, Air India has started a program to strengthen its crew's handling of unruly passengers,
But that's good.
and their
because
bladders.
They see a lot, yeah.
and they're reviewing their policy around alcohol service on flights. Well, yeah. Earlier this month, Wells Fargo said it fired an employee after an incident that occurred in November aboard an Air India flight.
Oh no! What's going on? What is
From
it?
New York. Oh no! Oh, this is I see
Okay,
what
tell me.
they're saying. This was the thing.
Yeah.
If firing an employee for Wells Fargo fired, he was a
Yeah.
Wells Fargo, but they didn't specify what the incident was. Air India could have handled incidents such as this one better, said CEO Campbell Wilson in a statement after. What could they? I guess pull him away. Put up a screen in front of his dress?
No, you know what they do? They probably take people. Like, remember when people are rowdy on flights? They take them and they tape them to a chair, or they use those things. Like, maybe when you see something like that, maybe they didn't intervene, and maybe somebody in the crew has to act as like. They're really supposed to be there not to serve you food. They're supposed to be there in case the plane crashes to get you off.
Sure.
So they're really there for safety. So maybe there has to be a protocol that. Like, if there's a disruption, it shouldn't be handled by the passengers. It needs to be handled by the crew.
But the thing about a rowdy passenger is making noise. That takes minutes.
No, if you see someone urinating, they're in first class or whatever. It's the small
It's
area.
right there, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's not like they're not in coach. He's in first class or something.
And the problem is,
imagine
if they were on Air France, right? And suddenly she's like, wee wee. It's like, wee wee. No, wee wee. It's like, wee, wee wee, yeah.
I mean, that's horrific. Like, I'm sorry, what makes you pee on someone?
I can't.
That's your problem.
I'm sure, she was rather pissed off about the incident, but
It's sad. It's like a sad.
We now know that at Wells Fargo, he won't be climbing the ladder of success, but
And I know flights are long and stuff, and I know they're like, but most people take like a Tylenol or an Advil, and they just take a drink and they sleep. They don't,
he obviously used the wet bar.
I mean, I have a bad bladder, so I would have to go too, but I have never, the worst thing I did one time was I was in the middle seat, and I had to, of course, urinate, and so the guy's sleeping, and he's huge, and he's sprawled, right? And I have to climb over him. So he's sleeping, and I climbed over him, and I'm like, please, God, because, parts of me are in his face while I'm climbing over. But I had to go. Yeah. But I never would.
And the irony on that Air India flight that he was on, you know what the in-flight movie was?
What?
The Wiz.
I hope not. That would be insult to injury for that poor lady.
Oh, but anyway.
We'd like to welcome our Golden Circle members. Fly with us. If you wish to be a member of the Golden Circle, please know that your points have to be over 10,000.
Oh, no. How was that guy like the movie? He was streaming. All right.
That's so problematic. I feel bad for that woman. So bad.
Well, yeah. Although, come on. So her clothes were ruined.
No, but it's also...
It's gross.
It's like you're being assaulted. She's sitting there and some man's like on top of her peeing on her. Like, I mean...
Some women like that.
No, you can't get out of the chair. You're like, imagine she was sleeping. It's like, what the heck? It's like...
Could have been worse. He could have been taking a dump on her.
What is going on in the world today?
Anywho, what was I talking? So back to there's not that much to. That's a much better story than my going down the wrong road again. Because we were talking about
Oh, yeah,
what I was going to eat, and what I will want to eat on my birthday on
Yes.
Monday. Of like going to a special restaurant, going to a place where I can get something different and unusual, and I would like something, But so I'm debating between like sushi, which is my go-to, and like Uzbek food, which I may have had once or I've never had plov, so trying something really brand new, or going for Indian, which I absolutely love. And I since we've been living here in Maryland, I haven't had Indian food. And we have a couple of restaurants nearby. We just haven't gotten from them. So I'm like, and now in my head, all I'm thinking about food. And I'm a foodie, so it's like food. Do I want that? And now all this is circling around in my head. And meanwhile, I'm in the lane. I'm in the right lane, and not getting distracted by a sign. Just my own mind being Uzbek or Sushbek. Raw fish or plov or tandoori. They have mutton. They have the Indian has tandoori mutton.
Do both.
How can I do both? I mean, it's my birthday. I should do both
David,
on my birthday.
You know your birthday is like a whole month. So
Yeah.
we usually start on your birthday and then it's like every day until February
Oh,
23rd.
except I'll be teaching next week, and it becomes difficult. But both I like.
Yeah.
So what do? I turn down the same wrong street again, not distracted by gang flings or the sign that I saw last week of a local bistro with their digital sign outside. Usually it says stuff like clam chowder available, or since it's Maryland, they have a lot of crab dishes or oyster
Did it say
stew.
hot crabs?
That's the other place.
Oh, okay.
No,
Okay.
but don't forget, there was suddenly, outside this bistro, on the sign, Jewish apple cake.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I mean, of all things to broadcasting, Jewish apple cake. So
We missed it.
all these distracting things. But in my mind, I got my stomach and my mind are connected as they always are. I'm a man. So and it's like, do I want a big platter of sushi? Or maybe it was Becky. But the Uzbeki place is 10 miles away. So by the time we
And
get
then what do
home,
you
we
do?
can deliver.
Making a right turn, making a right
Make
turn.
right turn, and then
Where are we again?
I'm down by the urgent
Urgent
care.
care.
Yeah. And it's like, God damn it, turning around. And so I don't know if I'm going to do it again this week. What will be in my mind? Thank God I'm not doing anything dangerous or that I'm so distracted that I'm like, but I should just drive on a full stomach. That's the important thing. I don't get so overwhelmed with the idea of what I'm going to eat on my birthday that I let it affect my driving capabilities. Anyway, I am the engine that drives this program, Dave's Gone By, every Saturday from 9 until noon or thereabouts, here on this Facebook page, Dave's Gone By, and of course the main website, davesgoneby.com, where all the archives go. Well, we were just talking before about a story that we were discussing last week that happened in on that Air India flight, and that had been part of a segment that we call Greeley Crimes and Old Times. And this is where we mix up two articles that appear weekly in the Greeley Tribune newspaper. Let me see if I have that column. Oh, no, where is it? I wonder if I have it on the other side of it. Oh, here it is. This is an actual real.
David,
I know things are falling.
Somebody translated like Alaskan warnings of like bad events into native language, indigenous language.
Oh no.
And one of the translations
Yeah.
said, "Your husband is a polar bear, skinny."
What? What?
They translated it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That makes a ton of sense.
That was pretty cool.
Your husband is a polar bear, skinny, right? And the other.
I'm gonna see if they. It's by FEMA, so FEMA translated, I guess, like warnings into native languages. But it's good to know that your husband's a polar bear, but skinny.
But skinny.
That's an insult.
Well, did they mean a polar bear skinny, which is completely absurd?
Or you're skinny.
Or a skinny version of a polar bear?
No, like your husband's a polar bear, kind of skinny. Could be like they're calling you skinny. Your husband's a polar bear, skinny.
Thomas skinny.
Or I think that's if they called me skinny and said my husband's a polar bear. Hey,
That's not bad.
it might be an insult though.
How?
I don't know. Maybe that's an insult. Your husband's a polar bear. It doesn't sound. It
Yeah.
sounds diminutive the way they were saying it.
Yeah,
Your husband's a polar bear. Skinny.
Skinny.
You know?
There's no explanation that they give in terms of
No.
Oh,
It was a bad translation of the language.
well. We have more language coming at you with our Greeley Crimes and Old Times. So as I said, this is a real, actual, honest to God newspaper in northern Colorado, the Greeley Tribune. And for years, they've been doing 2 columns in the Trib. One of them is called Cop Log, which has to do with phone calls that come in to the police department from people who are noticing very strange things going on in the neighborhood. Unfortunately, as I've been saying, Cop Log has been on hiatus. I may need, I think I need those. Yeah. Cop Log has been on hiatus because of some sort of weird technical things with the newspaper. I don't get it. So we're being very parsimonious with them. But we also have Old Times, and our friend Mike Peters at the Trib does this column. It has to do with going through the newspapers back in 1923. He doesn't time travel to 1923. He gets newspapers from the. He does, yeah. And he does it very Orson Welles, but that doesn't even make sense. No, he does it very H.G. Wells. Sorry, blew that joke.
Let me see if there's a picture of Mike Peters.
So here's Old Times, which means that the cutest, funniest, most nostalgic things that were in the paper 100 years ago, they share them, and it's kind of fun. So we mix them up, as I said, put them together to make Greeley Crimes and Old Times. Indeed, yes, ladies and gentlemen, Greeley Crimes and Old Times live on this Saturday morning, January 21st, 2023.
Mike
Yeah.
Peters, he's
Oh, why don't you look for the interview we did with him, and there should be a picture of him with our show.
I know, but
Well,
Go ahead.
all right, so we're gonna do maybe 1 crime, or maybe 2, if you're good, if you behave. I'll do 2 crimes, and then we'll do a bunch of Old Times and a couple of elsewheres too. So, a caller. We have a caller. On 16th Street said that a man came into the 7-Eleven. No, that's not a phone call.
You know, it's a man come into 7-Eleven.
That's more like it. With court order paperwork and asked for help reading it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because that's what they do at the 7-Eleven.
They do. They're helpful.
He said...
They do it for 2 cents a minute.
Yeah. He said he just got out of jail, and then he tried to pay with a fake $100 bill. He left with a lighter. It's like, it's random. It's almost a Dadaist
Yes.
blogger from the police here.
Normally when you leave, I would assume that they make sure that you understand what the terms of your release are, I would hope.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
So of course, the first place I would go to is a 7-Eleven if I wanted legal documents read and explained to me.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's cheaper than like a lawyer. I mean, like,
Well, no, it's real cheap if you're paying with a fake $100 bill.
here's a tip for you, honey.
And it doesn't say whether he paid for the lighter or if he just took one. But, well, they called the cops on him anyway. And let's do one more new time thing. This is real stuff that was reported in the paper. There's someone who works at the police station, takes the calls, and then has to note down what every call is. It's part of the, what do they call it, the blogger. And then it's public
like an
information.
Intake desk, right?
Yeah.
You intake and then you triage. Probably.
It's public record, and the newspaper has
Really?
access
I
to
didn't
it.
know that, yeah.
Must be, because how else would they know about it? When they don't never give names or anything like
But
that.
I didn't know, like, if you called the police and asked for something, it could be publicized. They didn't have public.
I guess as long as they don't give a name, and they'll tell you where you're calling for.
Some of those situations, like the squirrel stuff, are pretty specific.
Well, that's true. Well, if they say a caller from a mall.
Yes. Or like, remember when it was Bonefish, a caller from a sushi restaurant, and it's like not,
Yeah. So much for privacy of information. By the way, T-Mobile.
Yeah.
Friggin' T-Mobile is apologizing for a data breach of like 37 million
There's
people.
always,
Yeah.
David, there's no such thing as a non-data breach. I mean, let's
Yeah.
be real. We're living in an age where, it's dark web.
I was a non-data breach birth, actually.
Oh.
A caller on 29th Street said, now you have the comedy bell? So someone rang the doorbell
Hello.
and left 2 donuts on the porch.
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that wonderful?
That's lovely.
And then the
Were
next
they in a
night,
bag, or were they just?
I don't
Oh, okay.
next night the same thing happened, but only 1 donut.
Well, maybe there's some kind of it's a sugar detox program. You get like 1 donut, 2 donuts, 1 donut, half donut, donut hole,
And
half
then a
donut
whole,
hole,
yeah.
nothing, and just
Yeah.
a packet of sugar.
For 3 weeks they left just a hole. And it was
That's
really,
nice. I mean, that's nice if someone did that.
yeah.
Maybe it's
Kind
I bet you it's probably one of the DoorDash or something, and they just got the wrong address.
Who DoorDashes a donut?
You can DoorDash a cup of coffee.
No, you can't. Wait,
Yes, you can. You can get a cup of coffee.
Isn't there a
delivered.
don't you have to then pay like $10
But
minimum?
if you want that, you could. Some people probably do. They wake up, they get a Starbucks, they get a Dunkin' Donuts. I'm sure.
Or that's already like $5 plus tip plus whatever.
But you don't know. These donuts might have been expensive.
They could have the
$2,
gold dusted. Yeah.
Like $2.50 a donut. That's $5.
Who the hell pays $2.50 for it even today?
It might be from a fancy bakery.
Maybe. Maybe.
Mhm.
Maybe. Anyway, I wish someone would send me a donut. The neighbor who was taking our garbage cans and has stopped doing it.
That's because you outed him for food.
That's true. Only me. This is my mouth. This is what I do. So I think I mentioned this on the program. We have very nice neighbors on our block, and our garbage delivery is once a week. We have 1 recycling delivery on Monday nights, and then we have, well, when I say Monday nights, I mean like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. So you leave your recycling out once it goes dark the night before, and sometime in the overnight, they come and get it and take it away. And they do the same with our regular trash once a week on Thursdays. And it's been happening where we'll take our can out full of recycling or full of regular garbage, go to sleep, and then I'll come back out in the morning. If I don't go out like first thing in the morning, if I sleep in, I don't have to go drive anywhere or teach. I'll get out and I'll look out the window at 8 o'clock and I'll be like, where the hell's our garbage can? Where's our recycling bin? And I was, I started to freak a little. And then I opened the door and I noticed that somebody took our garbage can, the empty, and brought it back towards like the side of our house, almost where we keep it in a little storage room. But I'm like, okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a nice thing. Especially sometimes the garbage people will leave the can in front, like on the curb, not even on the sidewalk of the curb. And then you worry about cars running into it and stuff. But this was just like, oh, he probably, our neighbor, and we assume we know who it is, would be taking back his garbage. And he thought, oh, you know what? Since I'm out, let me bring their garbage back too. And it's just this nice thing. He did it a couple of times. And now he stopped. Because at first it was, but then you come to sort of expect it. It's like, well, is he mad at me? I mean, he was doing this nice favor, didn't even ask for, and now he stopped doing it. And of course, I'm sure I blew it because I was talking to our neighbors across the street, and they had just come back from shopping at the supermarket. And the wife was bringing in the stuff, and he was helping bring in. And I was just being goofy, as I am. And I said, oh, okay, what'd you bring back for me? Oatmeal. Hey, I could use some oatmeal. It's not the brand that Joyce eats, but and I'm looking at their stuff, and she's bringing in these groceries. And I said, well, there's not really much. And then I see still in the trunk, he's got like chocolate-covered Kirkland almonds or chocolate-covered peanuts from Kirkland. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I'll take some of those chocolate-covered things from Kirkland. And like immediately the wife raises an eyebrow. And the neighbor looks at me. And I realized that she wasn't necessarily supposed to see the goodies and the snacks that he was going to take in himself and perhaps put in a place where the wife is not going to see them, where perhaps he's supposed to be watching his weight or his sugar or salt or his intake or his diabetes or I don't. But and then I realized, okay, we had neighbors who liked us. Now we have a neighbor who just wants me to die. And we're not going to get our garbage brought back anymore because old Dave, as is typical of my entire life, just said the wrong thing to the wrong person at the wrong time. So I apologize, next door neighbor, if I outed you and your Kirkland chocolate eating stuff, which I would be doing too. I completely admit. But that is my life. That is my way. But anywho, how do we get to this? Oh, the neighbor leaving. If you want to leave donuts on my stoop, anybody, by all means, please don't poison them. But donuts are not my favorite snack by any stretch, but I'll eat a donut anytime. So by all means, feel free. Anywho, let's do some old-timey stuff. So these were things that were in the Northern Colorado newspapers back in 1923. According to writers from newspapers in the East, if you want to get rich from your writing, write the story that makes the reader feel more up than down. In other words, write porn. No, but this was their idea. It's like, hey, you want to make money? Don't write depressing things. Don't write things that make people angry. Write happy, good things. And it is good advice, but of course, it runs counter to the feelings of every writer who's ever written, who's just going to be like, I'll write what I feel and write what I want. And the world isn't that wonderful, and therefore, blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, although as I get older, I do move closer on some level to my mother's thing of, I want to read happy books. I want to read things with happy endings. I want to see shows that aren't too scary and don't leave me angry or scared or miserable or depressed. I understand that now as you get older. I just want to see something light and nice and people being nice to each other. And an ending when, things are terrible, but it's a happy ending. I get it now. I do. Anyway, a woman complained that a strange man, wasn't me, abducted her from the streets last night and took her to a hiding place. Okay? There's a hiding place. I guess he gave her a nice hiding. She escaped. This is 100 years ago. The woman escaped from the hiding place by biting off his thumb. Police arrested the man when they found him suffering from the bite with the end of his thumb still in his glove. Wow. Yeah, I guess they fingered him. Can you digit? But apparently true story from back in the day. That's what you do, girls. I mean, before they had rape whistles and cell phones and screams and all of that, just, right down on it. Runnell and Runnels, chiropractors, will be open on New Year's Day for the treatment of toothaches, scarlet fever, gout, headaches, cold grip, mental depression, lumbago, and other diseases. Try our health services. Better health means better earning power for your investments.
David, I'm wearing my outfit, so I'm dressed up in my robe. Look.
Oh, very nice. You want to get on cam? Oh, look,
No.
very nice. But anywho, I love that even 100 years ago, they were just trying to tie health and better tooth health and things to what money you were making. A Greeley man driving his auto.
Oh boy.
I love it back in the day. They still called it an auto.
On an
Auto.
automobile.
On a Loveland lake.
Oh, Lake Loveland, we know that.
Well, said he lost the vehicle when it sank in the ice.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. If you think you're gonna drive a 4,000-pound vehicle over light, thin ice in Colorado, you got another thing coming. Last week, a Loveland firefighter pulled a large pikefish out of the lake
Oh.
and found
What's a pikefish?
a pike, like
Oh,
a
pike,
perch.
oh,
It's
okay.
like a whitey fish. And they found in the pike
Yeah.
several parts of the auto in the fish's stomach.
What? Why would a fish eat an automobile?
You know, dogs. Well, a dog will eat anything,
But
certain
it's probably
dogs.
not tasty.
Well, you don't know. You don't
Do you
know.
want a cup of tea?
No, I'm actually pretty good. I can't have my coffee though. I can use that.
It's heavy.
No, you could breaks have fluid. That'd be tasty. That'd be
Yeah,
nice.
wouldn't that be healthy?
No. What
parts-
other parts of a car would be
Windshield wiper, maybe? Horn?
headlight cheese?
Oh, God.
Well, yeah. No.
Uh-oh.
Flippers. Flipper could eat flipper. I don't know. Crank, shaft. I can't even.
I don't
No.
know the parts of a car. Maybe the muffler?
Oh, a muffler. They can make a muffleretta.
That doesn't munch on a muffler like that.
Well, I've munched my share of mufflers, and let me tell you, it tastes better than it smells. But you know.
You're a bad boy.
Ahem. Okay, let's do one or two more old times, and we have an elsewhere. So, we're doing Greeley Crimes and Old Times, going elsewhere. Here's, well, no, let's do one more old time. Let's see. Oh! Holy cow, hon, get ready. Guess what we have? This is very, very exciting. A Lupton alert!
Lupton. Alert.
Ladies and gentlemen, a Lupton alert means that we have a story from Fort Lupton, Colorado. And there's nothing particularly special about it, except I just love the name Lupton. Say it with me. Lupton. 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 Let it roll off your tongue, off your throat, off the back of it. Lupton.
I'm gonna make a tea.
You can't be hyper saying the word Lupton.
Yes, you can.
You can't. Lupton. It doesn't work.
Lupton.
You have to be like Lupton.
Tell him about that horrible thing we saw.
What horrible thing we saw?
About the kid who, with the ADHD who was given methadone.
Oh, why does that have to do with anything? Why would
Because you
we?
said you can't be calm.
Oh, you can't. Yeah. No, we watched this because it's television. We watched this true story, true life thing of profiles and interviews with this what do they call her? A coroner, a medical coroner.
Yes.
And her thing is they recreate the dead people and the mysteries that she tries to solve. And it was a true story of this kid, 10-year-old boy, who was on ADHD medicine. And he'd been struggling in school, he'd been struggling with personality. He started taking Ritalin, which is this wonder drug, this magic drug. And it totally straightened him out. He became like an A student. He was doing fabulously well. And then suddenly started going downhill again. And got sleepy and there's nothing funny about it. And he just, and his whole personality changed
People
again.
need to check their medicines when they get it from the pharmacy. They need to look it up and make sure what it says it is.
And they spend this whole hour-long show going through because they got to tease this shit out to a full hour. I'm like, well, let's see. We've got to make sure the kid wasn't being abused by the parents. And we got to check for bruises. And sometimes you see them, sometimes you don't. They're internal, they're external. Oh, and let's check out. Maybe it's something he had asthma. So maybe he had an asthma attack, and that's what killed him. Because the kid was found dead. He was 10 years old, found dead in his room, face down. So did he die of an asthma attack? Did he have an enlarged heart because they saw some bruising around his nippy?
And they never got to Fort Lupton.
And just this after this
Never
after.
got to Fort Lupton.
Never did. No.
Yeah.
And then finally, what they figured, and I was hollering at the TV about, you saw me, I was saying, just check his fucking medicine bottle.
Yeah.
Check the bottle.
That's true.
And because people was, who was giving him? Because what happened was they found when they finally did a tox screen, they found that instead of Ritalin in his body, it was methadone. So was he taking his meds? But it's like, just check. Maybe he got the wrong pills. And this is exactly what they did. The pharmacy screwed up one letter over from methadone to methylphenylphenylsteam of what he should have been taking. Yeah, it was a Jewish remedy, and that's what killed him. He had an overdose of methadone in his system, and nobody did anything wrong except the pharmacy, which I assume paid the parents a few $1 million.
Remember they said it was a small pharmacy and the guy went out of business, and I mean that's horrible.
Yeah, there's no victor. There's no there's blame to go around, but there's no And at least the coroner was able to give closure. There's definitely closure finally, but there's no happy ending to this. There's no. But how do you balance this? Let's say, like you feel bad for the pharmacist, right? A bit, huh?
Yeah.
Right. How do you feel about Alec Baldwin?
That is, I don't know, like I have, because I have so much guilt when I do something wrong. Like even when I don't do anything wrong, I would feel guilty.
Right.
So for me, if I was in that situation, as Alec Baldwin, I would feel guilt.
Oh, sure.
Just me personally, I would feel, I don't know, like.
But what about culpability?
I don't know, I just would feel, I don't know. Like,
Because both are accidents.
yeah.
But nobody meant to kill. Alec Baldwin did not mean to
No.
kill the cinematographer.
But the thing is, and he shot the other one, and they're still going on with the film, you know.
No, rust never sleeps.
I mean, like for me, it's like, but also see, for me, I'm very in the good part about my all my anxieties and stuff. I would have been checking that gun like 100 times. Like so, for me, I would have been like, do safety protocol. Like we need to check. We need to let's check. Everybody check. Go out and test it first. Now someone else go test it outside.
I mean, the gun is supposed to fire, but it's just supposed to have a blank in it. How would you,
You would know. You would know if you would know. So I can't believe it. I can't believe that happened still.
I can't believe that. But again, it's sort of like we have a little more sympathy for this pharmacist who made a mistake, but a deadly mistake, than Alec Baldwin, who basically picked up a prop gun and fired it.
It's a good analogy because if you think about it, that pharmacist, what they do, normally what they're supposed to do is have 2 people check a script. I mean, that's what, like, I had a good friend who was brilliant. And it was when that heparin for kids and heparin for adults, they looked the same. It was a liquid injectable. And they looked the same. Like the bottle, the company made the adult and the pediatric. And all the nurses checked things twice, but it still got through and they gave a kid a dose of heparin, but they realized it and they could fix it. But I don't know.
I'll tell you what's even worse than any of this. More than once, I have gone to the supermarket and bought the Diet Arizona. Because it looks so much like the regular Arizona.
Yeah.
Why don't use very significant color? They just basically use the same exact design, the same colors, and they have the word diet on it. But if you're not really paying attention, if you're not thinking, you were programmed to know the branding of things and the logos and trademarks. It looks exactly like regular Arizona.
No, you're right.
And I spilled like $3 worth of iced tea down the toilet.
I also think the difference with Alec Baldwin is, doesn't he own the company? Like he's not just an actor.
It's his production company.
So
that's why.
It's like, I don't know. Like God forbid you have a party and somebody falls in the party and gets really hurt badly. When you're the homeowner, it's not only you're at the party, but you own the house. I mean, I think I don't know the law. Obviously, I'm not a lawyer in any stretch of the imagination, but I think. There are responsibilities people have.
Oh, I know.
What does the law say? I mean,
years ago there was this actor on TV named John Eric Hexum, and he was playing around on set with a gun, with blanks, and he pointed the gun at his head, and the blank went off, and he killed him because he had it right at his temple.
Oh, what?
But who's responsible? I mean, so thank goodness he didn't shoot anybody else. He shot himself. But who?
Well, you remember what the cowboy said when we were at one of my conferences, and it was a fake gun. We were at the cheesy rodeo bar with the mechanical bull. It was very cheesy, line dancing, for tourists. Yeah. And a guy dressed as the cowboy, you said, point the gun at Potato. And he said, you never point a gun, even a toy gun, directly at someone. Yeah. So even if you're aiming that way, can't you just, nobody knows where the person is off camera. Can't you just... aim up. I mean, I don't know. I don't understand.
Oh my God. When I was dating, I take my pants off. They say, "Don't point that at me." Please don't point that at me. And
that's different.
The dates would go really wrong.
That's not for therapy time. This is not therapy time. No.
This is my therapy time.
There's public and private, and that's
And mine was pubic. But anyway.
What's going to happen? He's charged with what now?
I haven't read the latest. I think it's involuntary manslaughter.
But what does that mean? I mean,
it means he didn't mean to kill the person.
But does it mean like he's going to go to jail? I mean, what is it?
I guess it might carry a sentence. It would be very unlikely that they would give this person jail time for an absolute complete accident.
I don't know.
I mean, well, again, the negligence, I don't know. You know, honestly.
I don't understand the whole thing. I really don't understand. I know that happened,
Yeah.
but to me, like, usually there's so many, like, if this was like a college, college kids doing a college film or a high school, but in a professional production with anything, I know, like, even if it's on Equity or SAG, there are rules, right? I mean, don't they have rules how long the musicians can play?
Well,
how
yeah.
long so if they have rules about everything, they should have had rules that were easily.
Maybe not. A film set is I've only been on
I
like
don't know.
short student films and things, but it's chaos. I mean, it's
Oh,
controlled
it's
chaos. It's sort of like everything is geared towards let's get the shot. Everybody's exhausted. Everybody's been awake for 25 hours. Everybody's running around and making sure 20 million things have to be done and to get the shot just when I mean, it's just now if you have millions and millions of Hollywood dollars.
Who's your friend that won the Winnigs? Ask the Winnigs about how it is. They
Yeah.
weren't filmed.
Well, yeah, or my friend Phil out in California, but it's
You
like,
should ask him.
yeah. I mean, even in the best, most controlled film circumstances,
You're
you're
saying it's
always
just
dealing with,
chaotic.
like, oh God, the camera stopped working. Oh, this piece of the set broke. Oh, the actor tripped. Oh, they forgot their line. I mean, it's just like every second, everything can go wrong and does. And you look for the happy accidents, but it's essentially, what was it?
I don't know.
What was the idea of finishing any film is a miracle.
Really.
It really, really is. But we got on this from the whole Alec Baldwin thing and all of that. But anyway, what are we doing? We're going to the guy who drove into a lake. And the Lupton alert. Somehow we went from a Lupton alert to all of that. Weld County school bus statistics were released this week. The average salary, what do you think this is per month for a Weld County bus driver?
What
Per month? $19.23.
$25.
Ah, that's nothing. They make $36.75.
Whoa, that's profligate.
Windsor pays only $20 per month. Platteville's a good place to work. They averaged $60 per month, which went pretty far in 1923. Gasoline prices also varied from 18 cents per gallon in Fort Lupton to 25 cents in Grover, Colorado. I don't even know if Grover still exists, but so there you go. Those were gas prices and driver prices back in the day. Now let's do some elsewhere stuff. So what elsewhere means, as we were talking about the Area India thing last week. These are news items that are not from Colorado. They can be from anywhere else in the world. It's just weird, strange news, and we share them with you. And we wanted to let you know. This one comes all the way from the United Kingdom, as reported by National Public Radio. Carl Chegwin was getting in. This is a couple of weeks old. This was just before Christmas. Carl Chegwin was getting in the holiday spirit by watching the movie The Santa Claus on Christmas Eve.
Nice, yeah.
While he's hanging out watching the movie with his mom, he got a text message from his doctor's office diagnosing him with, quote, aggressive lung cancer.
Oh my God.
Well, he sat there in shock for a while, and then he called his mom over and says, Mom, take a look. And she also had received the same text message from the same doctor's office of the National Health Service.
Maybe it's genetic.
No, you found this story for me. What happened? Well, Askern Medical Practice in Doncaster, England, mistakenly sent Christmas Eve text messages to patients saying that they had lung cancer. 20 minutes later, 20 of the longest minutes of these people's lives, the NHS no reply number messaged, quote, please accept our sincere apologies for the previous message sent. It was an error. The message should have read, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
But those are very different.
Yeah, Yeah, it's not, oh, by the way, you have lung cancer. No, you're fine. No lung cancer. No, you may have something, but no, it's just Happy Christmas. By the way, Chegwin said in his 30 years as a patient, he'd never received a Merry Christmas message from the doctor's office. And while neither he nor his mom was expecting a test result for cancer, others who got the message were.
Oh, that's the worst part, yeah.
And it's not clear how many patients received the incorrect holiday greeting. And by the way, Chegwin and his mother are looking for new doctors.
Yeah, but in NHS, they probably have nobody there, I think, yeah.
Yeah, the National Health, my gosh. There's an oopsie for you. Gotta watch your see, this is the kind of thing, like, you do a zillion things right in a doctor's office, and but one wrong thing, and Lord knows how much chaos you cause. Anyway, let's do another elsewhere. Let's do one more elsewhere thing. These are fun. This is not in the UK. This is Australia. We go all the way to Australia, Melbourne, for this story from Reuters. Alexander Zverev. And we were watching that documentary on Netflix about these intense tennis players.
Oh, God, yes.
Alexander Zverev was up one set at the Australian Open on Thursday, but then he lost his concentration. The former world number 2, who was making his way back from serious injury, was serving when a pesky seagull unleashed a dollop of poo on his head.
Oh, that's happened, I'm sure.
Realizing what it was, Zverev offered a wry smile and walked over to his chair. And while the crowd was laughing, he removed the excrement from his head. But the bird duty, you remember how you say when a bird shits on you, it's good luck?
To be good luck.
It was not good luck for him.
What happened?
He went on to lose the next in straight sets from then on. I don't know what he said after.
When the crowd laughed at him, I mean, you're laughed at by a stadium full of people and a bird
well, they're laughing with him, but at him.
Yeah, I don't think so. When a bird poops on your head and people are laughing at you, it kind of probably ruins your flow and your concentration, I would think.
Yeah, and I imagine what he said right after the match. Ah, shit.
Oh, he said, walk.
Yeah. Oh well. Let's do one more old-timey thing, and then we'll table this and get to our Greeley Crimes and Old Times. You need typewriter. This is written by someone who I guess was pained by the word in a classified ad in the paper back in 1923. You need typewriter.
Yes.
Right? It must be a Russian back then. You need typewriter. And we're considering changing your home loan so you can afford it. Because, I would risk my house for purchasing a typewriter. You can now get a bargain at Autry Brothers Business Company.
Business company. Ooh.
Pay $3 down and 10 cents per day to own any typewriter. It doesn't say how long, by the way.
Forever.
So 10 cents per day for the rest of life, you'll get typewriter.
And then they take your soul.
Well, 10 cents a day that's a lot back then. It's like $3 a month.
Couldn't you just go to the library and use the public typewriter?
I wonder if they did that back then. Probably not. Because libraries, first of all, were quiet. And you couldn't have
They might have a room.
Maybe. I think that idea of computers in libraries is like only 25 maybe years old or something. They didn't do that. When we were growing up, did our libraries have a place where you could do anything?
I don't remember.
No. Back in the day, libraries had these things called books.
I love books,
Yeah. And it was funny, when I was growing up, they had an exciting little place, one corner with record albums, and then eventually they got like the CDs and DVDs, but it was a place where you went to look for books. Now, especially like university libraries, it's basically like people who help you look for things on the internet.
David,
That's what it's there for. It's for computers,
I gotta make tea.
media, and people who help you look for stuff.
Okay?
Yeah, I'm finishing the today the Greeley Crimes and Old Times. So you need typewriter. All right, let's do one more old-timey thing. This is a letter to the editor back in the day from someone named L. Mumper. I love that name, Mumper, who probably lives in Fort Lupton. In response to my letter last week, Mr. Frank Werden accused me of being a knocker. Let me assure you, I am not a knocker. He also said farmers are poor old fools who don't know what they want. In both cases, Mr. Whetten is wrong. Well, I will say that is a nice pair of knockers. And that, my friends, is Greeley Crimes and Old Times for this Saturday, January 21st, 2023. More show to come.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool.
Oh, he was not.
I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi-yi-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, yippee-yi, we're doing the Dave's Gone By Show, our 878th edition, live here on this Saturday, January 21st. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. I hope you've enjoyed watching the program. We have a few minutes left because we have, I know you've been waiting for this, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned coming up. But before we get to that, let's do some thank yous and some reminders about what we call the Friends of the Daverhood. This is different from like just being friends on Facebook. These are people who have been on this program in months and years past. We're delighted that they've been here, and we kind of keep tabs on them. We want to let you know what they're doing now. First of all, let's thank the folks who have been on the program this very day. First of all, thank you to our brand new friend of the Daverhood, Richard Vetere. Richard Vetere, longtime playwright, screenwriter, author. Get his books. And if you happen to be around on Monday night in Manhattan, come around 6 o'clock, you can get a free ticket because it's kind of sold out. But you can still, if you get early, they'll let you in with a free ticket to see his play in reading form. So they're basically doing a reading to see how the actors are in it, among them Len Cariou, and maybe bring that to an off-Broadway commercial production. But the name of the play is Zaglada, has to do with trying to bring an old Nazi to justice. Sounds really good. Again, Monday night, it's free, Midtown Manhattan at the theater. Is it St. Clements? Yes, over on West 46th Street. Check it out and go to Richard Vetere author, or Vetere, excuse me, Richard Vetere author.com, Vetere author.com for all things Richard Vetere, because you can watch one of his things on Amazon. I think they've got that movie with Carol Burnett and Walter Matthau in it. And certainly at various places you can see the Miracle movie and his other stuff. Check it out. Really cool guy with wonderful stories to tell. So thank you to Richard Vetere for being in the Daverhood today. And thank you to Richard Hillman, the press agent who set that up. Thank you to Ronald Rand, of course. Soul of the American Actor is his newspaper. soulofamericanactor.com is the website. All about, if you want to be not just practical tips for acting and how to memorize and the business aspect, but just the feeling of the reason people become actors and stay actors, what it does to you and your soul and the beauty of it. You want to get that newspaper, and you also want to get his book, Solo Transformation on Stage. You also want to watch High Drama, Eva Heinemann's program, her TV program of reviewing New York theater. It's in its, probably close to its 30th year, and you can see new episodes and old on YouTube at the Eva Heinemann channel. And she spells her name like Heinemann Books, Heinemann, Eva Heinemann, her channel on YouTube. Look for High, with an exclamation point, Drama. So thank you to all three of them for playing our Today Yesterday quiz, and congratulations, Richard, for winning the game. But those are folks who've been on today. What about the folks who've been on the program in months and years past? Ah, yes, very nice. So, for example, let's see, we've got, hey, Michael Citrinitti is doing, what is he doing? Speaking of readings, he's going to be doing a couple of short play things, stories about human rights. It's being done at the Theater at St. Mark's and They're going to be streaming it while it's happening, and that's happening on my birthday from 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's from 2 p.m. to 4. Readings of 2 stories about rights. Who's going to be one of the actors in them? That is this Monday, January 23rd. Michael Citrinity. Remember, he is the husband of Louise Lasser. We had so much fun with them. When
She was great on the show.
Yeah. So check him out. That is Monday, in person at Theater at St. Mark's, but there's also a streaming component. Want to let you know that Jill Sobiel's musical, she's great. She has a musical. It's called Fuck 7th Grade, and she did it off.
What was bad about 7th grade?
She probably had a miserable time of it. She was probably realizing that she might have been back in the day queer, and maybe took some shit. I mean, all kids have a tough time of that age of puberty and bullying, whatever else. So, but she wrote a musical about it, kind of a rock pop musical with her own music, and it is happening. She did it a few months ago, was pretty much sold out. She did it again. Now they're bringing it back one more time at the Wild Project downtown. It starts on Monday and it runs through February 11th. It's Fuck 7th Grade from Jill Sobiel, and she's in it. By the way, she's part of the show. I want to let you know that Seth Beeson-Hirsch, he is doing a cabaret night specifically devoted to women composers. So I guess people like Dorothy Fields and oh gosh, I should know more names of people like this. Who wrote Mary Rogers is probably, you know what I'm talking, Carole King maybe. So it's Women Composers Cabaret that is being done at Don't Tell Mama on January 24th, this Tuesday, with Seth Beeson-Hirsch hosting. And then from the 27th through the 29th, Friday through Sunday, go see Vince Giordano and the Nighthawks. They are going to be playing classic old jazz nightclub band at Birdland in Midtown Manhattan. Playing now through February 5th on Broadway, a play called The Collaboration, which features our friend Eric Jensen. It's a Manhattan Theater Club production at the Samuel J. Friedman Theater on Broadway, and it's all about the friendship and the rivalry, ultimately, between Andy Warhol and Jean-Michel Basquiat. And Eric Jensen plays the art dealer who kind of brings them together. Playing now through February 12th, Austin Pendleton is through. Oh, it's Austin Pendleton alert. Ring the bell, ring the bell, ring the bell. The ever ubiquitous Austin Pendleton is directing Between Riverside and Crazy, the Stephen Atlee Grigas play, which is being done by the Second Stage Theater on Broadway at the Helen Hayes Theater. So see that for just the next couple of weeks. On Broadway, it's Tova Feldscher with a featured role in Funny Girl at the August Wilson Theater. Lilias White is in Hadestown at the Walter Kerr. And you can, of course, hear Alan Menken's music in both Aladdin on Broadway at the New Amsterdam Theater.
Watch this show.
And also Little Shop of Horrors off Broadway at the West Side Theater. And speaking of horrors, this is a picture of me from, well, less than a year ago, or maybe a year or so ago, back at my job before I left New York to come to Maryland. I worked with some really, really great people. And there's one of them. There's my friend Roberto wielding an actual butterfly net, because I worked in a school district. What's really interesting is, what I love about this picture is not just the incongruity of a very large black man chasing you with a butterfly net, the fact that there would be a butterfly net in a place that I work, the expression on my face, but if you notice my pants, I keep a lot of stuff in my pockets, but it looks like I've got a really, really nice package. It really looks like, there's a big black man in the photo, and I'm the one who looks like he's packing wood. And check that out. Look at my.
That is a weird photo.
It looks like I'm swinging a pipe. Yay for me.
That is a weird photo.
It is. I love that picture. Anyway, what else am I? Oh, I just want to remind you, Jim Caruso's Cast Party every Monday night at Birdland. Go to birdlandjazz.com for tickets. Evan Seplow is the founder and editor of StageBuddy.com for news and items about New York nightlife and reviews. StageBuddy.com. And then Dr. Demento, still doing new and old Dr. Demento shows at drdemento.com. And I want to also remind you, even though they're not here, watch Two on the Aisle on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, featuring our friend Leslie Hope and Blake and Charlie Gross. They do like a Siskel and Ebert thing of reviewing theater. Vicky Quaddy, her show is Late Night Catechism. She's not in Chicago this weekend. She's traveling around and doing it elsewhere. But usually you can catch her shows at the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago. Bible Bingo, Late Night Catechism, and Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun? And let us not forget David Sheward, who writes for the David Desk and Critic,
Just
Cultural
remind,
Daily.
Just remind people. This is a public service announcement you should get.
Here's a public service announcement. I believe this is also from where I used to work,
Yeah.
but this was at the library. I think this was not at the school district. Oh, so weird the glare that I get on this. Remember, folks, there is no need to spray air freshener on the toilet seat. Who did this and how many times that they had to pull up this sign?
You know, it's sad because it's more than once they had to do the same thing, you know?
Yeah. I'm going to Febreze my poo. That's what I need to
I
do.
don't get that. Why?
And by the way, anyway, those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Oop. Yes, we have just a couple of minutes left in the program on this Saturday morning, January 21st, 2023. So, we've done so much. We've had so much fun. What a wonderful panel we had, right? We had fun with Greeley Crimes and Old Times. We talked about my getting distracted on the road by food and my upcoming birthday, for which you're all going to send me wonderful emails and messages and gifts and money. And I do have a Zelle account, so if you send money, I can take it. What else? We can just send money. That's the real thing. So yeah, we've had a very pleasant time in the neighborhood this morning. But we do have one more unpleasant task to get through. It is our Colorado Limerick of the Damned.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Joyce and I lived in Colorado, as I've been saying, and I got it into my head to write a poem about as many places in Colorado as I possibly could. All the little towns, big cities, wherever it is. I'm trying to figure out fun ways to rhyme these words. And because they're limericks, they're supposed to be kind of funny, and I, of course, make them disgusting, horrible, and dirty. So, today, we're going to go to a tiny town called Leyner, Colorado. Leyner. I know you've never heard of it. I've never heard of Anthony's Bay, but Leyner, Colorado. I'm going to tell you just a little bit about it because there's not much to say. And then I'm going to read a horrible poem I wrote this week about Leyner, Colorado. Oh, I typed the wrong thing. Here we go. Our Limerick of the Damned.
You're the poetry man.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick.
Rocky Mountain, Colorado, Colorado.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Colorado, we go to a place called Leyner, Colorado. As Joyce said earlier in the program, back in when the census was taken in 2010, 29 people were living in Leyner, Colorado. And by the way, the median age of the town is 60. But it's actually an incorporated part of Boulder. So it's a little place, but of course Boulder County is very developed, and Boulder is one of the most popular places in Colorado. It was probably a rail station back in the mid 1800s and it's very near Erie, Colorado and Lafayette. So it's a little sort of stopping point where a few people live.
Oh, Leslie said thanks, much appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome. So that is all, literally, I went Googling, I went looking, there's nothing to say. You can go on Zillow, you're not going to find a house for sale specifically in Leyner. It'll bring you to Erie and Lafayette and other places. So that's it. They should put my poem on the Leyner, Colorado wiki page.
Yeah, they should.
Just because I'm adding to the lore of there's nothing else to say about it. So if my God, somebody wrote a poem about it. We should put this on the wiki page on January 21st, 2023, on the Dave's Gone By Hilarious podcast program. Dave Lefkowitz wrote and read this poem about Leyner, Colorado, the first ever written about Leyner. So here it is. It is our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for Leyner. A wearying woman from Leyner was kindly save the noises for after the poem. You'll need them. A wearying woman from Leyner was quite the annoying complainer. She gave me no rest, her husband confessed, so shooting her was a no-brainer. Kindly send your comments and complaints to davesgoneby@aol.com. DAVESGONEBY. davesgoneby@aol.com. As I said, I read everything that comes in. I just don't respond to everything that comes in. Or you can also, of course, message me on the Facebook page. Dave's Gone By, as you obviously know, is our Facebook page. So if you're a friend on Facebook, you just want to message me, please go ahead. I'd love to hear from all of you. Your suggestions, your thoughts. Don't really want to hear your complaints, but if you have any, I'll read them. And especially if you're complaining about the Colorado Limerick of the Damned, I feel you. I hear you. I don't pay attention to you, but I get it. I get it. I shouldn't do them. And yet, week after week, I do. Can't help myself. So,
Can't stop this.
can't stop me. It's 12:01 in the afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On this Saturday morning, we've been finishing up the 878th edition of Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my darling and adorable wife, Joyce, who, does everybody know what this is?
Oh, yeah.
It's not like part of a chair from a massage table. You're going to think of it the opposite way. I gotta say congratulations of a sort. Joyce,
Thank you.
2 weeks ago not even, like last week, we were talking about this. She went to the toilet and did the ColoGuard thing. She got the doctor's thing, she sent her away for the ColoGuard. That's perfect. Nice framing device.
Oh, God.
She got the ColoGuard box in the mail, and of course, as soon as she got the ColoGuard, it was like a month and a half ago, it was the holidays, so she didn't want to do it.
Well, they give you all the thing. They say
Yeah.
don't do it on a holiday. It has to be given in a certain amount of time. If it doesn't get in, you have to do it again. It's going to be bad. We're going to verbally,
Yeah.
embarrass you and stuff like that.
So all these rules. So finally, it's after the new year. The holidays are done, and it's time for Joyce to use the ColoGuard. Now she's constipated. Now she can't go to the bathroom at all. She's making little tiny nuggets, and it's like, is she ever going to get it done? But then one fine morning, after a couple of days of vegetables and oatmeal, God spoke through her anus, and she made a large and beautiful poo. And this is the thing this is how the ColoGuard thing works. So you put this over the toilet, you put the seat down so it holds it in place, you put the bucket in the middle, and she pooped in the bucket. She scraped it with the thing, she sent it in, and true to their word, ColoGuard looked it over and sent it also to her doctors, where she goes. And her poo, beautiful, magnificent. You could.
They did not say magnificent. Okay?
You could
they
put
did
it
not say magnificent.
on a skillet and fry it
No,
and
they
eat
didn't
it.
say
It's
that.
her
They
poop.
didn't say that was magnificent.
In such good, yes it did. That's the fine print. That's the stuff the doctors actually look at, but they don't tell you. They said that your poo was edible. It was that good.
Really?
Oh my God, yes. You could sprinkle it with sugar and put it in a cereal
I
box.
didn't read that at all.
Yeah.
Where did you see that? I didn't.
So Joyce has a very healthy, God willing, thank God, colon and tushy and stool. Hurrah, hurrah, yippee. So yeah. And are we going to keep this thing as a memento?
It's up to you. I mean, whatever.
I mean, if we ever have to collect any other kind of movement thing, then we had to give back the bucket though. I don't know. I guess giving a stool sample is on my bucket list.
Oh.
Wow, look at this. Look at this. Whoa.
Let me see. Oh no, David, don't do that. You're gonna hurt yourself.
And by the way, now I realize where that thing has been.
No, it just held the bucket.
Oh, that's right, because you were still sitting on the seat. That's right. Yeah. Anyway, this has been a bucket of joy for me to do this program this Saturday morning, January 24th, Saturday afternoon now, 2023. Happy times to all of you. Kindly do wish me a very happy and healthy birthday. I'm turning 59 years. It's not years young. It's years old. Okay, look at it. I'm growing in it's interesting to me that I'm growing in this over here, which I normally don't do.
Yeah,
Trying to get my beard up.
Are you changing like your style?
I'm going to be a werewolf. Thank you.
You look very handsome.
Because I want to try a little something. I want to, if I'm going to have a beard, I'm going to bring it up here.
Handsome.
Yeah.
You look very good looking man.
But notice that it's sparse, but also dark, which is shocking me because obviously this is bright white, and that was the trick my dad taught me back in the day when I was growing up, and he was in his 30s and 40s, and his hair started turning white and gray, and then he started growing the beard. He didn't have a beard for many years, and all the gray went into his beard, and his hair stayed dark for much longer than it should have. He had dark, but he had all the gray going in the beard. So I tried it, and it worked. But I have this gray beard, but it's weird that my soul patch and my mustache, now even coming up on here, is still, a couple of years, it's just going to all be salt, pepper, and gray. But I find that really, really interesting. Maybe you don't, but I do. But growing this in for my 59th birthday on Monday, kind of trying to keep it a little trim, but looking a little youthful and sad. But I'm not 59 years.
You're good
young.
looking. You're good looking.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you,
good
sweetie.
looking man, honey.
But I'm not. I'm sure I certainly don't have the energy and stamina that I had 20 years. If I run around the block, I can't. I used to run like sometimes 3 miles when I was jogging. Ain't no way.
That's because you were running from people.
It's true. It's like, which high school bully's after me now? Yeah, okay. But and I feel I'm looking for a dentist because I feel like I chipped some kind of like thing on my tooth. So I feel when I breathe, I feel like the wind in it. It's like a little more sensitive than it ought to be.
Take care of that.
Yeah.
We'll take care of that.
And
We'll take care of that, honey.
and just the stuff, the aches and pains to wake up, the tinnitus in the ear. I've started just 2 days ago. I started taking B12.
How's it working?
Because even though I'm 59, in my heart I always want B12.
That's funny.
So I've taken it for 2 days. They got a little B12 caps. It's done nothing. They say keep build up this missing vitamin. It's an old wives' tale. Not that old wives knew from thiamine, but
I don't think old wives worried. They knew it. They didn't know the name, but they knew it in the store.
But I think it's one of those things where can it hurt? We watched another documentary about aromatherapy. And they're using it for this, and they can't say that it cures cancer, but some people who were doing aromatherapy got over cancer. So the ridiculous thing of, well, you probably have a B12 deficiency if you're hearing the ringing in your ears and you're deaf. So try that. Well, what the fuck? I'll try B12. Why? I think that I'm doing it wrong though. I think you're actually supposed to put it in your ear and push it through and open your ear hole. No, it would hurt, but it might work. Just like maybe it's wax. Maybe it's just like candle wax, and if you put the B12 in through the wax and you light the whole thing on fire, you won't hear better, but you'll be screaming so loud it won't matter.
That's horrible.
So no, I'm not getting younger. I'm not getting younger at heart. I'm disillusioned. I'm disappointed. I'm frustrated in my creativity career work. I'm 58 plus 363 days. That's what it is. And I'm okay. I'll be dead within 20 years. That occurs to me now too. 59. So we just bought this house 5.5 months ago. And I realized that if we don't pay like extra towards the mortgage principal. I will own this house when I'm 89 years old. This is a 30-year mortgage.
Wow.
Like when I'm 89,
You'd be like,
this house will be paid off.
That's good.
I'm like, but and I'm trying to make little extra payments. You know, we don't have a lot of money, but you know, trying to make a little to get that principal up to save
Yeah.
hundreds and thousands of dollars on taxes and interest over the years and stuff to pay it down. And otherwise, if I do this, and if we do make a concerted effort to pay down the mortgage, we could probably pay this house off when I'm 85.
Wow.
I mean, yeah. Yes, it's horrifying. It's like, my God, this is going to be the until I go in the nursing home. This is my die house. This is it. This is the one where I'm, oh, yeah, nice house. We just bought it. I feel great. And then like 10 years from now, I'm going to look at the stairs. I'm like, I have to go up these. I have to go down these. I'm too cheap to put in a stair lift. I'm just going to take like a breakfast tray that we have and put it on the banister and just go, wee. You know? And while I'm doing it, I will be going wee. But
Oh, nice.
anywho, happy birthday almost to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Dave. Happy birthday to me. And happy week to all of you. Joyce, any wonderful things to add?
No, happy birthday, honey. I love you.
I mean, you're my present every day of the year.
Oh, you're just saying that.
You're my present, my past, and my future, I should
Oh,
say.
that's very sweet.
Ain't it?
You're just saying that because you used my stand-up desk for your show.
Yeah, isn't it cool? I'm in Joyce's office today.
Yeah.
We finally got her, finally, after living with an empty room here
I love
for
that.
5 months, we bought her a desk. And it's cool. This is the thing.
I'll show that.
It's not a table. It is a table.
Here, watch this.
Here, watch this. Watch this. I'm doing this with my prostate. No, it's a desk that you press a button and it goes up and down.
It's a standing desk and a seated desk. It's
Yeah.
great.
So, because Joyce doesn't want to just sit, she wants to be active and she wants to work sometimes while standing up. So this desk, you press a little button, it goes up,
Isn't it cool?
it goes down. It is very, very
Yeah.
cool. And most proud of, well, we put it together.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what?
And we put together the IKEA table. Did you tell them that?
This is a little. It's a couple of screws. Yeah, but this thing, this was a monster. This was like, and I was like, what? Why do we do it? Why don't we get a professional? We paid several $100s for this desk. Let's get someone. And it's like, no, I'm my father's child. We're gonna put this together with an Allen wrench and a couple of screwdrivers.
It's a spittle.
Yeah, and we did,
Yes.
and it works. And it's not falling over. You know, I didn't curse it with my Jewish non-competence.
No, we watched the video.
Yeah, we did. I forced Joyce to watch over and over again.
Video,
Let's
yes.
watch the man
And then
make
you
it.
kept rewinding it. Oh, Lordy.
Yeah, well, no, it was a
I know,
really
you're
good
very
video.
thorough, I understand that.
Yeah, I wanted to watch the video on the, but by the time I was going to get a video up, you were putting the table half together already.
IKEA things are not that hard to put together.
For you, oh, I wanted to bring that in. Can you get the? I want to show before we go. I know we're over time. I know it's 12:13 already. Can you find the booklet?
I don't know if it's in that house. I mean, in the.
Yeah, no. I'll bet I know where it is. I'm sorry. I'll bet I know where it is. Hold on. You have it? Or? Oh, good. Oh, good. Oh, but we put it back in here?
Yeah, it's go ahead. You go
Yes. Thank
ahead.
you.
Show the people. I don't know which one you want, so I brought the one that says don't make.
Yeah, this is the one.
Oh, okay. With the
So you figure-
the man, yeah.
Knarrevik. Here it is. So we bought a little table because we have a humidifier in our bedroom, and because I like things moist.
I do.
Yeah, I literally make Joyce stand with her legs open over. But so we have a Knarrevik.
You're bad.
A Knarrevik table. Right. So, but this is from IKEA, which is a Swedish company of some sort. God forbid there should be instructions in English or French or anything. No, it's all just these visual diagram
Sure.
things. I should have failed, what do they call it? Mechanics. What do they call that in industrial arts? That was the course I took in high school, industrial arts. We were basically filing things and making motors go. Useless in physics, useless in geometry. Anything that's mixing like things that look like this in dimensions and what has to be done with them and forget it. So it's a table.
Yeah.
Thank God it's a sensible thing. It's like this, you just put screws in. But this is their idea of instructions.
With the little man saying, "Don't be mad."
So here it is. Look,
Yeah.
this is the how to put something together book from IKEA. This is not a joke. I mean, it's a joke. So it's like, do not do this yourself. Although you could have
I
done
did
this
myself,
yourself.
yes.
Yeah. No, you did not. I tightened everything. You did not do it yourself. But here's
What happens if you don't have anyone? That's sad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this desk I would not want to. I couldn't put this
They
desk
say
together
don't do
myself.
it yourself, but then they show the one little pumpkin doing everything himself.
Yeah. I have no idea what the hell.
Maybe it means don't. No, it's saying like, don't do it yourself. Ask for help. Maybe. Or
don't go about. But I mean,
Or
if you need
get a
help,
man
why
with-
you have this
Get a
instruction
man with a
booklet?
pencil.
Yeah.
Easier.
Meanwhile, the guy's carrying a hammer, which is the one thing you really don't need to put this together. But again, this is not the table. This is just a little stand that we bought. So whatever you do, don't open everything, stand there with a hammer, and look at it and frown.
No, don't do that.
No, stand there and smile with a friend.
A friend who has a pencil behind his ear and some kind of hump on his back.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
That's
There's
bad.
a hunchback guy, and they just stand there and smile at each other because you don't have genitals, so you might be gay, but there's nothing you can do. That's right. I'm telling you, this is the instruction book from IKEA. And here's the next one is like, whatever you do, don't put the genitals you don't have right next to the thing. Don't bang them into the corner.
No, that's bad.
And don't smash something.
Don't smash anything.
Meanwhile, what you do want to do is do it right.
Get it on a rug. They're showing you a rug.
A rug,
like,
that-
put it on
yeah.
a rug, yeah.
So don't do it on a hard floor, a hard surface, I guess. Okay. And then here's a good one.
When you don't know what to do,
Call.
call IKEA.
How about when you don't know what to do? How about doing a better fucking thing to put something together than this manual? Oh, it tells you here. They give you an Allen wrench. Allen wrenches are great. And then 16 screws,
Yeah.
which, was sort of like 8 days over our honeymoon. But now we move on to page 2. Look at this. Yeah. Joyce can decipher this.
I understood that. It's turn it on. That you missed the page. You missed the first page. There's one
Oh,
leg.
I missed. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's kitty for see. That's the first page.
Yeah. Look at this.
See, all you do is you turn it on its side and you put screws in, but you don't use a washer. That says no washer.
I need someone to decipher this.
Yeah, it's not
I
that
cannot
hard.
look at
You
this.
just put this one part of the table and one leg. You do it 4 times. You put the other part on, and then you screw the top on.
Would it kill them to put that in the international language of English?
Yeah, but then they would get the thing translating like your husband is a polar bear skinny.
Well, no, you get a good translator.
Uh-huh.
And, I remember back in the day, you would get like from Deutsche Grammophon or some of these, you would get a CD, an
Mhm.
opera CD, right, or a classical music
Yeah.
thing, and it would be a double packet CD thing,
Yeah.
and you have 1 or 2 CD, and all the rest of that double box thing would be taken up with a 100-page booklet, right, and you had a couple of photos of the artist, and you had the libretto of the opera.
Yeah, but this is
And
what
then
people
half
do.
thing would be in German. Then they would do the whole thing in English, and then the whole rest of the booklet is in German. You would think IKEA could do like 4 more pages. 1 page English, 1 page maybe Spanish, 1 Chinese, 1 Esperanto, perhaps Farsi,
Oh wait, hold on.
or English Farsi, French Farsi, Slamador
So they
Farsi.
have a whole bunch of like funny. Oh.
What?
Pinterest has a whole bunch of fake IKEA instructions. Oh, here.
Yeah, tell me about it. Look at it. This is fake. This is funny. Or intentional. Oh, the glare kind of makes it hard to turn it. Actually, if I go like this, maybe I can do there. Or maybe I can't.
Here, I'll get it better.
I don't even want to know what's going on with that one. Yeah.
It's like it's saying like ass kisser and then it's doing that.
Because this, This is absolutely meaningless to me.
Oh.
And this is even more meaningless.
Look at
Just
this
tell
one.
me, yeah. And leave it dark. Are
Elevator.
these fake or these
No,
are?
that's elevator standards.
Oh,
Like hold the door, don't be mean.
got hard to angle this. Cute. Very cute. I don't know why they have a snowman in there going on the elevator. I don't know what's up with this. But anywho, thank goodness this was such a simple table. It was kind of intuitive. It really was like, okay, here's 16 screws. Here are these two parts that go together. Oh, do them. Anything more than that, well, would have been like Knarrevik. Knarrevik. Anyway, you've been watching Knarrevik with Dave Lefkowitz and my wonderful wife Joyce and all the wonderful guests we've had, including Richard Vetere, Eva Heinemann, Ronald Rand, and all of you watching at home. So, most happy times to you. Making a great week wherever you are. We should be back next week. Next week, really, really cool special show. I forgot to even mention this. We'll be back.
This is one for us, honey.
Yeah, show me. Oh,
That's like you on the first date. Making a joke, see?
there it is.
He's like, what do I tell her? What do I do? And at the end, it's like joke and it tastes like funny chicken.
And that she likes.
Yeah, of course.
She wasn't into the romantic stuff. She wasn't into the weird, hey, let's do naughty things. But the rubber chicken, absolutely.
I love that.
Absolutely.
That's cute.
Or she cooks him a rubber chicken and, it tastes like crap, but
Yeah,
he's
the
being nice
vampire.
anyway because he
They
wants
have-
to get
they're
at her.
very funny.
So next week in the Daverhood from 9 until noon for our 879th episode, we're going to have, speaking of Richard Vetere was talking about major producers, we've got Julian Schlossberg coming into the Daverhood. He's produced movies, he's produced theater. He is a pretty heavy-duty dude, and he's written a memoir. And we'll ask him about it, and we'll talk to him about his work and his life. And it's going to be a double-decker next week. We have the return of actress and wonderful funny person Julie Halston. So, yeah, it's going to be a pretty great episode of the show. Julian Schlossberg and Julie Halston in the Daverhood next Saturday. That would make it January 28th, I do believe. Find out more about the show by going to davesgoneby.com and also our Facebook page, our Facebook page, Dave's Gone By. Anyway, don't miss your Dave's Going By. Have a great one. And remember, please, everyone, happy birthday to me. Knarrevik!
Days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by, days gone by.
Sushi, Uzbeki, South Asian. Sushi, Uzbeki, South Asian. Who's Becky? Oh, Becky's over there. Hi, Becky! And gone by.